I feel like you're almost scared to be too masculine now. I think we're treading this really fine line in history where things like chivalry, when you used to cross the road and tell a woman she was beautiful and buy them flowers, if you did that now you're a stalker or you're a pervert. There seems to be a power balance that shifted heavily towards the female because invariably they're getting 10, 20, 30, 40 guys sliding into their DM.
Women are born with value, men build their value. What people see as a weaker man is that an inauthentic person, because we change our opinion based on the person that's in front of us. Yeah. Well, now I can't trust you.
What is wrong with a man providing and a woman raising their children in a house and keeping house? But now, we're living in a world where both parents are working, preschool care, after school care, and I feel like we've kind of blurred the lines. You guys have got a lot more information to process, so you've just got to pick which bits you find are real. And if you dare to go on to X and you dare to click on something that's left or right wing, you sure as fuck know your algorithm is going to be full of hate speech against whatever you've clicked on, the female boxer and the misinformation around that. So the narrative was transitioning, unfair.
I only realised yesterday the restrictions on like Russian and Belarus athletes.
Politics and Olympics gets super messy. I saw something this morning, these horrible riots in the UK at the moment, just horrendous, what they're doing to immigrants, housing and stuff. I think it was a radio show, and this guy rang up and said 95% of black and Asians are the problem. Dude's going, where'd you get your stat from? I've seen it everywhere. And you just go...
Well, welcome back, round
Mate,
two.
Pleasure to be here again.
Yeah, looking forward to it. So, and we were talking in the gym the other day. I mentioned like the book, The Way of the Superior Man, and how I felt that was something that I think every man, no matter what age, but specifically the young men, teenagers, 20s, should be focusing on. And I guess the benefit that brings in understanding like masculinity and how that suits in the world as well. What's your kind of take on where things are in the modern world, I guess, on a day-to-day basis that you feel with like masculinity as a dad, but also as a man? Yeah,
it's interesting. I feel like you're almost scared to be too masculine now. I think we're treading this really fine line in history where, I think about things like chivalry, the old school chivalry, when you used to cross the road and tell a woman she was beautiful. I'm talking, maybe in the 20s or 30s or 40s. And that was, you buy them flowers. I feel like if you did that now, you're a stalker or you're a pervert. And I feel like there's this really delicate balance of what masculinity looks like now. Because I think that's part of... There's nothing wrong as a man leading that way and being chivalrous and telling a woman she's beautiful, as long as you're not doing it in a sleazy way. But I feel like that's how my grandparents grew up, and you courted a woman and that was okay. It was okay for a man to court a woman. It didn't feel like there was any issue or gender imbalance with that. And you might court that person for 3 or 4 weeks and write them letters. And I tell my kids stories, you'd write a letter and it'd get delivered to that person and then they'd write back. I feel like masculinity now is if you be too masculine or you're too forthright, it comes across as sleazy, or you're overstepping, or, women have their own rights. So we don't want to be approached by men, or, I'm a little bit confused about where it's at. I think we all just need to respect each other, but I feel like there's a lot of... I get called a feminist by my friends. I'm big on female empowerment. With the environment I grew up with, I always stick up for women, but I feel like we're almost tipping too far the other way now.
Well, I find it interesting that I wonder whether also the approach, like how we feel about that masculinity in the context of like approaching women or partners and, that realm, is that reality, or is that what we see online because we see the minority of women online being like, I want a man that does X, Y, and Z and all these sort of things, then men get scared to approach women because they're not X, Y, and Z.
Yep.
And therefore we portray the reality of social media into the reality of real life when they're actually two completely different things.
Yeah.
Whereas if you walked up, I don't know, like if you went up to someone in person and you said to them, you're like, wow, you look beautiful today. They're probably not going to be like, fuck off, that's great. Like they'll probably be like, oh my God, someone actually said that to me.
Yeah.
And I wonder, we've convinced ourselves that people don't like that chivalry and all those sort of things purely based on some clips we saw online, which made us scared to step into that masculine sort of frame as well.
Yeah.
And at the same time, like the masculine frame, like being able to, I think it's the ability to know that you can conquer, you can do. I think Jordan Peterson says this. It's like be a monster, just learn how to control it. And I think that is like a really nice phrase for like that. You're talking about the strength of a man sort of thing. But then the relationship thing, I just wonder whether, and approaching people, whether it's actually a real thing or whether we're convincing ourselves of it.
I think social media has changed, whether it's perception or reality, and I, having a daughter that's nearly 21, and talking to her friends as well, because I'm really interested in this space about there seems to be a power balance that shifted heavily towards the female, because invariably a attractive female, whatever that is, to whoever that is, that doesn't matter what that is, but they're getting 10, 20, 30, 40 DMs, guys sliding into their DMs. So there seems to be that world of, well, we can either accept or reject a whole lot of guys because they're all coming at me. So I feel like the old days of chivalry, crossing the road to give a woman her flowers or pick up the hanky she dropped, you see in the old movies, is now just a whole lot of dudes just diving into the DMs. So there's this real... I feel like women feel like they've got a lot of choice now. And you do see that on social media a lot about there's so much choice for women now. There's no more choice than there was before. That it's just that guys are just sliding into a DMs a lot easier than approaching someone on the street, I guess.
Which comes, I guess, that I think a common sort of conversation that people are having online is that women are born with value, men build their value, and therefore that's probably amplified even more.
Definitely amplified.
In the fact that but also one thing that no one talks about in an equality point of view is attractiveness equality.
Yes.
Like that is, it's purely based on looks on social media. If you look in, the eye of the beholder, I guess, but in society, if you look a certain way and you look really good, well, you've got a lot of good things coming for you if you just post a few photos on Instagram. Like in comparison to someone that doesn't look as good, that's going to be harder.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that I find, like I say, interesting in growing up with a son and a daughter, and we have really open conversations about it and what's considered acceptable now. And I think that's a really, it's fluid now. I feel like the movement has shifted perhaps more so, a lot more towards the female side, but it's always evolving. And I feel like there's this wave of young guys kind of pushing back now, saying we want to claim our masculinity back. And, we do have testosterone and almost that, it's probably not a great example, but that hunter-gatherer mentality where what is wrong with a man providing and a woman raising their children in a house and keeping house? I fundamentally think, in the 50s, that's what it was. I mean, people might say that's sexist. I'd go, well, man or woman earning the money, man or woman raising the child, I don't care what side it is, but what's wrong? I don't think there's fundamentally anything wrong with that model, as long as someone's caring and raising their children. But now, we're living in a world where, both parents are working, preschool care, after school care, and I feel like we've kind of blurred the lines. Like it has to be about that child, especially from 0 to 5. Whereas there's this economic pressure and the pressure for the woman to go and work and the man to go and work and be a man and be strong. Don't be emotional, but don't be too emotional. Be the breadwinner, but also be the dad and have energy for the children when you get home, and also clean the house. And it's kind of feel like it feels it's a bit messy at the moment. So
well, I think now we're stepping. That's actually a really good point there. Like you're not knowing what you need to be is. As a bloke, I feel this, and I'm sure women maybe now feel the same as well. It's that in the past it was like this was your role. Now it's kind of like your role is everything.
Yeah.
That's really hard to do. Like it's really hard to crush it in business and be the full-time parent. Well, it's impossible. Yep. And so having those specific roles where people did specific things probably just allowed more to get done more productively rather than doing like a little bit of everything. You're doing a lot of that and doing it really, really well, which is, I don't know. Like to your point as well, like the parent, like the raising of your kids, if you're around the place, it's like, where do we go wrong? Like, I'm sure there's a lot of different points there, but where do we go that there's no parent in the house or not? Yeah. Someone's in there. There's an adult, but it's not the parent.
Yeah.
Like what? No one, who's raising your kid?
Yeah. And I was talking in the gym the other day when I mentioned it, but, I know a couple that are both lawyers and, they're in preschool, the kids are in preschool care, after school care, they have a nanny, feeding, washing, bathing, clothing their children, putting them to bed, and they're coming home at 7:30. Now they've got a $2.5-3 million house and a couple of European cars, but like you kind of think, at what point have we got to that where the money's so important than the car and the house and the material things, where these children are growing up not saying goodnight to mummy and daddy most nights. You just go, this is crazy. What's wrong with the old model? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that in that someone's going to throw around the word patriarchy sort of thing. And this is one in, the conversation upcoming with George that I'll have as well, is that like the patriarchy, that when people refer to that term, it's often, I think, referred to as that's bad for women. It's like, well, look at the flip side of what, I guess, the world, what society we live in as well. That doesn't mean it's all blissful for men either. Like it's, track it back in time, like who went to war? The men went to war. Like, and people go, someone's argument will be, well, that was men chose that. I'm like, the men that went to war did not choose that. A select few men chose that. And so I think that, again, like it's how far back in time do we have to go to kind of start to be like, where did it all crumble?
And women, generally speaking, are more empathetic, more compassionate. There's qualities that men and women have that are both strengths and weaknesses. And that's where I feel like the line's been merged a little bit. But maybe it'll sort of realign itself or start to flip back. I mean, I feel like we're in this really kind of uncertain time how people identify and what they identify as. And I mean, I know working in professional workplaces with HR departments now, it's, you wouldn't dare say a woman looked. No, I've worked at jobs you wouldn't even say they look nice, or I like that jacket on you, or your shoes are nice. Like it kind of almost at that broken glass point where I say your shoes look good, and they could end up in HR going, oh, Ben's hitting on me, or Ben's being sleazy.
Sorry, I'll be a cunt instead. Like,
it's kind of. I know.
I'll get in trouble for that too. But like I'm sure that probably works in some extent within their own circles as well. Like sort of people, just probably the general complaints. Not even just male to female. It would be like female to female, male to male. Like which just there is, and there to your point as well. Like we've gone maybe a bit too soft, too away from. As a bloke, say in you can't have banter. You say to one of your mates like, oh, looking a bit fluffy or whatever. Like you can't say that because no, that's not very sensitive. He's my best mate. We joke about these sort of things, and it's like, why can't we have some of that fun still as well, and that banter? It's not bullying. It's banter.
And I follow AFL really closely, and obviously having worked at Port in the AFL system, and I love things like Triple M commentary where it is they've pulled back a lot, but it was quite old school blokey, but they will go to town on fucking blokes, call them lanky, fat, big head, big nose, lard ass. They'll just it's just bloke banter, and there's a lot of female commentators with them as well now. They don't generally jump in on the banter, but can you imagine them commentating an AFLW game, calling a woman lard ass?
Good luck to you.
Holy shit, big head, big nose, anything, any reference to any part of their body. So it's an interesting space watching and following a lot of footy about. I think from what I'm hearing, they've been asked to pull back on it, but even on the weekend, they've got nicknames that you would not say in the AFLW system. There's no way they would even go into that space. Kane Corn talks about, guys being, either fat or unfit or too heavy or whatever. You wouldn't say that in the AFLW commentary system. So it's kind of like if we want that equality, it's kind of got to either stop it or it goes kind of both ways without being shouted down. I don't know, because I find their commentary funny. I've heard them interview the guys that they give shit to, and even the guys find it funny. So it's kind of, they're not meant to be nasty. I think there's still room for humour and a bit of fun without degrading people when, not being too rude about it, I guess.
I think it depends the place you come from when you're saying it as well for a lot of these things. Like if you, saying to your friend, you might be just, it's pure just having a laugh, or saying it on the commentary like or if you're a comedian, obviously you're saying these things and you're pushing the boundaries a little bit more. It's that maybe your intention as well as the time and the place. Like, so, that example, the jokes you have as a commentator on a footy game might be very different to the jokes you have walking around the office or around your friends or on the golf course or on whatever it may be. But like, so it is situational as well.
Yeah. It's interesting talking about, now that we're talking about the gender thing, my son, who you're mates with, Levi's a personal trainer, and he just updated his Insta page yesterday, and he sent me we sort of get feedback from each other, and he sent me a screenshot, and it said turning men and women into athletes. And I'm always, he's always waiting for my constructive criticism because I'm a dad, right? So I always come back. I said, look, mate, we're living in a world now where I think you need to remove men and women from it, and either training humans to be athletes, training people to be athletes. He said, yeah, fair call, because people don't identify as a man or a woman. So I think it's kind of crazy because I'm 53 and I'm a little bit more old school. I'm half contemporary with my thinking and half old school. I kind of go, that shouldn't offend anyone. But I guarantee you there's going to be someone that says training men and women, I don't identify as a man or a woman.
But I think then in that point, I'm like, well, the people that are going to complain about that, do you really want to work with? Like, they're probably going to complain about a lot more too.
Yeah.
And I think like that's where also like it's okay. I don't know, like maybe some people have got an extreme view or whatever. I'm like, I'm of the opinion that, well, that's what there is.
Yeah.
And so like, I don't know, I'm happy to have conversations with people about this. I know people that are going through that sort of transition process myself. And I'm like, but just because also you have that belief doesn't mean I have to have that belief. No. And I think that's what the problem we have in the world now is if I don't believe or have the same beliefs and opinion as you, I don't like you.
Yeah. I'm an atheist, so I've got beautiful friends that are Muslim, Catholic, Christian. I've got Lebanese friends that they all practice different religions, and in the conflict in Gaza at the moment, I've got friends on both sides of it. I'm not here to. I don't want to offend any of them. I listen. I'm really open to their views. I don't impose my views on them. I don't want to go out to dinner and have, their religious beliefs rammed down my throat. I'm not going to ram being an atheist in a non-believer space down their throat. I think we can all live in harmony. I think it's absolutely fine, and it should be that way.
But you should still be able to have conversations about those things.
Yeah, mature.
Like I should be able to sit there as someone, once again, I don't have a strong belief. I like a lot of what religion stands for, but I don't say I am this, I am that. But I should be able to sit and stand there and have a conversation with a Christian, with a Muslim, with a whoever, and hear them out and they hear me out and us still enjoy the meal. Yeah. Like it doesn't mean we have to avoid those conversations. Just respectful conversations and ponder thoughts and ponder ideas. Yeah. And that's why I said to you before, like when, as a 24-year-old that's sitting down on a podcast with a lot of people that are older than me with way more experience, and I don't like conflict, but what I do like to do is ponder thoughts and splash ideas. And so when someone says something and I think maybe I disagree a little bit, I'm like, well, have you thought of this or have you thought of that? And it's like, so not telling them or telling someone this is the right way, this is how it is. I mean, some things there are facts. Like you can't deny some things. But when it comes to, say, a religion or something, it's like have a healthy conversation where you converse and you see each side of the argument.
Yeah. And I mean, I love Ricky Gervais. Talk about brutal.
He's great.
And he's and I won't get it verbatim correct, but it's just because he says essentially, just because you have an opinion doesn't mean you're right.
Exactly.
Right. Like we all have opinions. And he'll continue to say there's 10,000 gods, I think, registered, let's say, worldwide. There's about 10,000 gods. You can't all be right.
Exactly.
It's cool. All have your beliefs. That's fine. Let's just treat each other with respect and decency. But we can't all be right. So I don't know. I like to think I can sit around a dinner table with people with a whole lot of different beliefs. I just think it's when people try to preach, that's probably when I start to get a bit fired up and go, well, I don't need to be.
Don't kick it into me.
I'm all good how I am.
Yeah. And I think, that's probably the same for anything, not just religion. Like it's beliefs around all these other sort of things we just talked about there. And I wonder also tying this back to masculinity as well. And this is a common topic in the books, The Way of Superior Man and Robert Glover's No More Mr. Nice Guy, I think it was something. I may have butchered the name of that book, but same sort of concepts that they talk about as well, is that if we also then just, maybe using Levi's example, if you, for everything like that, you go, oh, well, I will change it. And you're always not falling victim, but you're changing your views to please that person that's in front of you right now. What happens when the next person you talk to goes, no, but it's only men and women. And you go, oh, sorry, I'll change it.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, now we become the quote unquote, maybe what what people see as a weaker man is that and an inauthentic person, because we change our opinion based on the person that's in front of us.
Yeah.
Well, now I can't trust you.
Yeah.
Because I don't actually trust what you're telling me is the truth.
Yeah, effectively.
Whereas if you're able to sit there and be like, and that example again, I'll sit there and be like, I do believe it's men and women, or the Olympic debate of the boxing and all these sort of things. I'm happy to sit here and maybe not agree with everyone, but I'm being honest with you. Mm-hmm. If I sat in front of you and went, oh no, yeah, human, yeah, we should say that, and then I go back to Levi and go, Levi, make it men and women.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not being honest now, and you can't trust me, and that's very damaging, because now my partner can't. If you have a partner can't trust you, family can't trust you, friends can't trust you, people at work can't trust you, because you're a different person to everyone, and you're not being authentic. And that's like the definition of being inauthentic. Yeah. So I think that becomes a very dangerous game for masculinity as well.
Yeah, and look, and in fairness to Levi, if he'd pushed back and said, "Dad, fucking, pull your head in. I'm going men and women." I'm like, yeah, sweet. That's your call. I'm just, I'm telling you how it may be perceived. He's fairly aware and switched on in that space, and he decided to change it. I mean, it's his business.
Yeah.
So,
but you pondered the thought. That's that healthy how you approach it. You didn't say, do this.
No, and then classic. I mean, being a dad, he knows every time he sends me anything that I'm always going to come back with a bit of a counter argument or counter discussion, but it is thought provoking, which I think is healthy. And there's this, I just feel like that this masculinity thing, or just people's beliefs, that misinformation that goes around online is just feeds it. I saw something this morning, these horrible riots in the UK at the moment, just horrendous, what they're doing to immigrants, housing and stuff. And this guy called in, I think it was a radio show, but it was being filmed. And this guy rang up and said 95% of black and Asians are the problem, and they've all got problem. And the dude's going, "Where'd you get your stat from?" "Oh, I read it online." He goes, "Where did you read it?" "Oh, I've seen it everywhere." So he said, "You are literally claiming that 95% of black and Asian people in the UK are trouble." And he's like, "Yeah, I've read that." And you just go, and this guy literally got in a car, drove 2 hours to riot on the back of that fucking information. Because in his head, he went, "Yeah, I'm going to go and riot because these people are all problems." And you go, fuck, no wonder the world's cooked. Like that is, I mean, what they're doing over there. It takes
one thing like that to trigger you into such extreme action.
Yeah. You just go, this is a civilized country, well, supposedly civilized country, and they are just out of control. It's like I feel like we're in this stage now where countries, or a lot of young men, or men in general, seems to be majority, that they're just looking for a reason to fight and riot about anything.
Well, and I just wonder here we go. Is that because men are so lost in their masculine, and they don't feel needed, because women are standing up being like, I can do everything on my own, I don't need you. And men go, what am I here for? Because that's I don't know, that's part of it. It's such a masculine urge, and to feel needed, to want to protect people and want to do this. And so they're kind of like, oh, that'll fuel the urge.
Yeah.
That's enough for me.
And they're writing this. I mean, some of the footage is extraordinary. It's almost like it's a movie scene.
Yeah.
Because you expect to see a lot of that extreme sort of violence, but in other countries. But in the UK, it's kind of like, wow. It's like these guys are just sitting at home, like the Australia Day riots, back at Bondi. They're just young men and full of testosterone going, yeah, let's just go and punch on.
Yeah,
are based on a really loose belief that that we're racist and that these people are bad, and the misinformation about the horrendous stabbing of those children at that concert, or that Taylor Swift ballet thing that was happening, is that the person was Muslim and was an extremist, which turned out to be not true. So they're now rioting against immigrants that are Muslim on misinformation.
Yeah.
But they're kind of like, oh, fuck it, let's just keep going.
Yeah, I don't really know much about that issue. I've tried to very disconnect from a lot of the media as well, and also I can't hold a strong opinion. But that's a good. The point there is like, once again, like I think was it the female, the man or bear sort of thing? Would you rather be in the woods with a man or a bear? And that sort of thing. It's like, it's not all men that commit domestic violence that do all these sort of things as well. And it's like, so the same point here. It's not all immigrants, it's not all this, it's not like whatever category, whatever thing it may be. Like if you ask those people that are rioting, let's take it, and you said, now, do you also agree that all men commit domestic violence then? And they're like, no. I was like, well, why do you think then all immigrants commit these crimes and do all this sort of things? Like, that's how bold and extreme your view is. But when you put it in a context that they would defend, maybe it'll register in their head.
Yeah.
Maybe not. They might be a bit thick still, but
unless you're an Indigenous Australian, we're all aren't we all immigrants here? I guess really, unless But it's sort of that misinformation. It does my head in. Yeah, I mean, I tend to follow. I told myself 6 months ago I was going to stop waking up and reading the news because
so damaging.
It's so damaging for your brain because there's just so much trauma and there's only so much you can take in, and it ends up becoming a really depressing way to start your day because there's that much death and horrific violence around the world. And I always used to think it was my job and my responsibility as a fellow human to absorb all the atrocities because that's what we should do. But I'm starting to read and online a lot more about that. It actually can be. It's not our job to take it all on because it's too much. Because we have a capacity in our brain to take on so much, and you end up starting your day going, "Fuck, there's a war here, and there's riots here, and there's this atrocity here," and you're just kind of going, "Fuck, just wanted to go for a walk on the beach," and now my head's full of
you'd like to take on other people's problems. Like I think that's the hard thing is finding that balance. Because we should pay attention to some extent. We should have
compassion, absolutely.
And we should know what's going on. And maybe what's going on in one country, especially as a Western country, we can start to be like, well, that may start to happen here. So we can start to learn and get ahead of the game or whatever. But Dr. Tim Sharp, he said, and it was really, really good. It was like, do what you can, accept what you can't, and be wise enough to know the difference.
Yeah.
Fucking easier said than done.
Yeah.
But that kind of flicked a bit of a switch for me as well. And I think, for an example of those, the people that say in the UK that are rioting on both sides, it's like, how about you both kind of step into each other's shoes and understand where maybe some of this anger is coming from as well, and try and then have that discussion as to what's going on. But the issue is people don't want to do that. Like maybe say the people that are, have lived in the UK their whole life or whatever it may be, even they've lived there for most of their life. They were immigrants once upon a time. The conversation around if you move to a country, well, you're moving there for a reason. Don't try and change that country.
Yeah.
Like, don't move to Australia and then try and bring, I don't know, the culture from whatever country it is and change that country completely. You can still have your culture and your beliefs, sure, but like you respect where you've moved to as well. Because if it was the flip, if we move a lot of countries in the world, if you move there, well, you respect how their ways, you respect their laws, you do all those things. And I think that is something that we could also learn a little bit too. If you go on a holiday, you do what the laws are.
Oh, 100%.
You abide.
Yeah. I mean, I think generally Australians were pretty, we welcome people, like you hear stories, work in cafes a lot and stuff. And if you go to France and ask for a latte with an alternative milk, they basically tell you to fuck off. In Australia, we've got 10 alternative milks and we'll help you. We're trying to understand because you got broken English. You go to some countries, they don't embrace you or care about you at all. This is us. This is our country. This is our way.
Or the specific cheese in Italy or something like that. You go, what the fuck are you putting on that for? Yeah. But I think that's it. So there's something to be said about like learning from other cultures, but also just accepting.
Yeah.
If you move to a place as well.
And I'm massive pet haters when people broad brush and they say they. They're talking about Aboriginal people. Oh, they're like, or they're, Chinese, or you're not they're like. It's like, did you just use the word there to describe an entire race of people?
You know how many people fall within that bracket?
It's so offensive. So I will pull people up on that.
Yeah.
I've had lots of moments like that because there's a small group of every society that are bad eggs, right? It's not, you don't just broad brush an entire society or race of people.
Yeah. And that's it. And just, someone's argument back to that would be like, yeah, but the percentage is higher or the percentage of this and the percentage of that. It's like, well, you can then judge every case by what's in front of you as well. Like it's no different to anyone, no matter what they look like or whatever their sort of background is. It's kind of like, who do I have in front of me right now?
Yeah.
That's the person I'm dealing with, not every other person that comes into that same category that's very broad. And
your point is interesting, though, and it's probably a bit of a buzzword at the moment, and I do use it a lot. I think we're shit scared to be authentic anymore. It's like as if you actually have more authenticity, I think the world would be a better place. You could argue it could be worse in other ways, but like I'm sure you and I both get caught in conversations where you do hold back because if you are too authentic, you might upset someone in the room, and then you go, oh fuck, I'll just keep everything to myself, and then you start to lose your authenticity. I find that the word authenticity quite interesting in that regard, and quite often the people that are really authentic get shouted down, but they almost end up with a cult following. Where they're quite controversial characters that are really authentic and in your face, they end up getting like a following that's quite extreme towards them.
But I wonder whether that is actually authentic then as well. If you have such extreme views, it's like and I hate the terms, how people go the left, the right, the this, the that, like categorize everyone. But it's say like, I don't know, take a Tucker Carlson or something. Like it's, is he authentic? Does he believe all of those sort of things? Or is that the beliefs that he knows the people that listen to him have, therefore he taps into it and therefore his audience expands?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe he does. But it feels like it's that same thing in America. It's like if you believe one thing that the right have a belief around, oh, you're right wing, you believe all of it.
Yeah.
And so therefore I wonder whether people then, that becomes actually inauthentic in the same way, is that you put yourself in this bucket that you want to be in a group, you want to be in a category. It's like, I don't fucking want to be. I want to be in the middle. I agree with people on this side of the conversation, that side of the conversation. Maybe my opinion changes over time. Like, that's healthy. So, like, is that extreme actually then being authentic as well?
Oh, mate, look, I honestly don't even understand the left and right analogy, to be honest, in depth. I know what I know and I know what I feel, and but I know in the US they're very much, if you're a Democrat or you're a Republican, you'll do whatever Trump says. You'll just believe. You just stay on his side, and whatever he says, you believe. So they don't seem to balance in the middle much. There, Australia, I think, we're a little bit more measured. With you could lean, either be in the middle or lean either way. Whereas I feel like in America, if you're a Trump supporter, he could kill small children, and you would still find a reason that he did it, and it's okay, or he didn't do it, and it's fake news, or whatever.
But I wonder then again, have we fallen victim to the belief that that's true? That's what we see. Look how many fucking kilometers away are we? We have no idea.
No,
our perception is purely a few videos online, the algorithms, and some media outlets. Like, we don't actually know. We would assume that there's only people that are left and right. But I bet you if we flew and touched down in America and didn't go to a rally, maybe just walked around the streets and talked to people, it's probably very different. And, because the same again, you see these atrocities in the world. If you went to the UK, there's plenty of places in the UK, there's no riots.
Yeah.
But right now, our perception is the UK is fully rioting.
Yeah.
Because that's all you're seeing on the news. You're not seeing the kids down on the corner kicking the soccer ball. You're not seeing that. That's not newsworthy information. So we have such a bias that's now crumbling into a terrible place. And
it's proven. I mean, and I've worked in media, in radio and stuff, and spoken to journos and reporters. I mean, bad news and it sells. They want. Yeah. They lead. Notice how all the lead stories are all negative war atrocities. Like that. It gets more eyeballs. It gets people. It's better for the algorithm when something's bad. Sadly, unfortunately.
Probably a reason why they put the sport at the end then, or the little puppy dog video on the last,
of course,
because then you're left with a good thought of what the news is. You're like, oh, the news left me feeling pretty good. So you go back to it, you get the shit, and then the cycle repeats itself as well there, which is, they know what they're doing. It's a business at the end of the day. Media outlets are a massive business. I think people need to just lessen how much they absorb, or how much, not that you can have a lack of trust, but question more. Everything you hear.
And that's why I love podcasts, because they're a lot more authentic. We're just sitting here having a chat as mates, really, whereas there's no filter on this. So you can get your news from podcasts that are a lot less filtered, but the old school way of news is, I think it's, TV's just going to die out, right? Like it's, when I grew up, you knew who the news anchor was, you knew who the weather presenter was by name. They were how... In South Australia, they couldn't walk down the street without being asked for an autograph. Yeah. Now, your generation wouldn't know any.
No one trusts them anyway. That's the big thing. They go, you're just spouting shit anyway. Which I think in a lot of cases, rightly so as well. Yeah. There's probably times where it's wrong.
Yeah.
Once again, broad assumption probably.
I feel like your age group, my kids' age group, you guys have got a lot more information to process, because back when I was growing up, you just got told, and you're right, we just believed it. If it was on the news, it was true. Whereas now, there's just so much shit that you've got to process. So you've just got to pick which bits you find are real.
Yeah.
And if you dare to go on to X and you dare to click on something that's left or right wing, you sure as fuck know your algorithm is going to be full of hate speech against whatever or whatever you've clicked on. So all of a sudden you're feeding these, people that are loose cannons with a feed. Oh, everyone else thinks like me, or a lot of people think like me. It's like, no, you've just clicked on something and X now has fed your algorithm with some extreme views, and that's when it gets dangerous.
Yeah. Well, there was a video of this girl and her partner, and they went onto the same post on Instagram. They clicked on it, and the comments that came up were completely different. It reorders the comments based on your algorithm as well. So say for someone that, I don't know context, whatever it is, like you're a bloke and you're a lot of your feed might be stuff that's like, man up, get to work, do all this, do all that. And it's a post from Andrew Tate. Well, then you might get lots of those things going, I love Andrew, like, mate, he saved my life, he's done this, he's done that. If you're the person that hates Andrew Tate, you're going to get the comments of people spraying him.
Yeah, wow.
And he goes, well, this is now, so not only is the post we're getting on social media biased by the algorithms, it's also the comments.
Yeah.
And so then you're affirmed of that belief that you had going into that post, whereas, and on both sides. So how can we come to common terms when everything we see on social media is just confirming what we're seeing?
Yeah.
Like you're not spread with a different opinion. You're just diluted with the one side.
Yeah, and there's a couple of young guys that have been arrested in Australia for extremist views. I think it was based around ISIS. That mentality of you watch one ISIS video and those guys, like you're saying, the algorithm is just full of it all of a sudden, and a young influential brain full of testosterone that's a bit confused with life, and all of a sudden their brain has just got all this ISIS terrorist information poured into their head, and then all of a sudden they're making a bomb in their fucking shed. It's just like this. It's just madness, because there is no balanced view at that point, right? Because their algorithm's not going to have a counter view of that. Like from what you're saying, it's all gonna just feed what they believe at that point.
Yeah, which I guess who's accountable for some of those? Do there have to be more stricter regulations and things that are put into play that stops that from happening so much? The issue is it's a business, and that keeps people on their apps. So rightly or wrongly, that's, I guess, okay.
Yeah, well, fucking Elon Musk comes out. I mean, the riots in the UK, and like I said, I won't get it right verbatim again, but he basically did a tweet yesterday that said there's going to be civil war. It's like, fuck, you're one of the most influential humans on the planet. Where's your social responsibility tweeting there's going to be a civil war? Because there's the Elon Musk lovers, and I used to be, I'm not anymore, but what he says is important to them. Like, that's just a dangerous, like, where's the governance around him saying that or tweeting that, where, he's got a couple 100 million followers.
Yeah.
That's just dangerous, like I don't think he owns the company, right?
Yeah.
So no one's controlling
unless the
it.
US government intervene or something like that, which then that's, breaks the freedom of speech and all those sort of things as well. So I think that just more comes back to a moral sort of compass than it does anything. But, and, the same point, like he might come back with an argument that's, well, why do media companies can say whatever they want, like, whatever CNB or whatever, I don't know what they call it over there, Sky News or whatever, they can say whatever, that Fox News can say whatever they want, so why can't I say whatever I want?
Yeah.
Like it's an opinion at the end of the day. But I think that point is dangerous. It's like, maybe in that point of authority that you have is put it out there like, well, this seems like civil war maybe is a potential that could occur. Let's try and stop that from happening.
Yeah, perhaps we can cool our heads and think about it. Like that would be a more socially responsible thing to say.
Yeah.
Because when I worked in radio, the announcers, there's a lot of guidelines that they're governed by, and if a radio announcer is heard to be, I think it was called inciting violence. Like if there was incidents of certain radio announcers saying, we need to stop the boats. You get hauled. After your shift, you're hauled in to the manager's office, and then you go to a committee saying you're inciting violence. So you're inciting a group of people to believe. So there was quite strict rules in the radio world. But now, mate, it's a fucking open slather.
Yeah. And it's such a hard fine line, I think, also to allowing freedom of speech to hate speech.
Yeah.
What is that line? Like, someone having the opinion that I think we should stop the boats. It's like, well, they're not saying go punch people, are they allowed that belief? And whatever it may, or it could be anything. Like, it's like, who chooses where the line becomes, or that's now hate speech, or that's violent, or it's just an opinion and a belief, and we should, freedom of speech. And that's what's so beautiful about, Western culture, is that you can say what you believe and not be punished for it. Whereas in other countries, China, Russia, whatever it may be, you're punished for potentially having an opposing view to the government or whatever 100%. It is. So, like, do we want to go down that path? Because even, once again, if you believe, rephrase this, we have to then accept that as much as you think in that circumstance that may be a good idea because you think that belief is dangerous, you have to accept that some of your beliefs are going to be seen as dangerous and you won't be able to speak what you believe. And in order for true freedom of speech to be a thing, you have to accept listening to other people's opinions that you don't agree with.
Yeah.
That's, I think, the missing link. People are like, no, but that's dangerous. I'm like, yes, in your eyes, you don't like that opinion. In your eyes, you don't like that belief, much like I don't like yours. And that's the only way we can have freedom of speech, is that you do allow that to occur to some extent. Not hateful, but
if the true
differing beliefs.
Yeah, the true definition of freedom of speech has to be, you can't have any rules effectively, right?
Yeah, that's it. Even saying, I guess, if you went true like American, whatever, some of those people over there say the law, should be whatever. It's like, well, even the hate speech, I guess, comes under freedom of speech in the bucket. So I guess there's freedom of speech, and then you've got hate speech is a bit of a filter to stop terrible things from occurring as well, which is definitely a good thing. But who chooses that?
I don't know. I feel like the US, I was telling my kids the other day, like, the US just blows me away, right? I grew up and I worshipped the Americans. I played lacrosse, right? So I was heavily influenced by sport because it was invented by the North American Indians, but also lacrosse was. But hip hop, streetwear, everything about, we used to look up to the Americans as a young Australian man, almost for everything. I bought Timberlands, I bought the brands that bought Stussy, whatever. It was all out of America. And it's almost like they couldn't do any wrong. They were great at sport. They were, everything. It was MJ. It was all of that. And now I look at America and go, fuck me. They are a shit show. Like, I was talking to my kids about going on a holiday. I reckon at the moment, it's one of the last places I would go. Like, my sister lives in Washington, D.C. and she loves it over there. And she like, I'm not criticizing, broad brushing all of America, but as a destination for me as a tourist now, I went to America in my mid-20s and I loved it. It was like, wow, this is a dream. I cannot imagine getting on a plane and going there. Apart from to visit my sister, but as a destination, I'm going, man, that place is kind of more cooked than it's ever been.
I'd love to see you test that theory and go
and
see
go,
whether you go.
You're probably right.
Because it'd be interesting. Like, had 20 years ago you had the same technology that we had now, you probably have the same opinion.
Probably, yeah, you're probably right.
It's not like America didn't have issues or whatever.
No,
issues are just because the minority view, the extreme views are amplified online. Like we said before, with what seems to be authentic. Extreme views sell, extreme videos sell, bad news sell, all of that sells. So that's all we see. So therefore, that's our perception of a place.
You're probably spot on. 25 years ago, it could have been worse.
Literally, yeah.
It could have been worse.
You just wouldn't have known.
I wouldn't have known about it because, I'm talking pre-mobile phone, pre-internet, when I first went there was nothing.
Yeah.
So you're probably spot on. Yeah. Is the world a worse place now than it was 25, 30, 50 years ago? No, probably not. We just hear a lot more about it, right?
Yeah. We'd have to have conversations with a lot of people in a lot of countries that have been around for a long time to have that conclusion, I guess, as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Which becomes challenging. Like, again, like, I've done this so many times before myself. I'm like, I want to go on a holiday, like UK, America, this, and I'm like, oh, but America has guns. I don't like guns, or this or that, and you're like, people don't seem to, have. Sure, there's big problems and it happens often, not necessarily just the guns things, but whatever it is, violence or whatever. I'm like, there's still places you could go that are good in a lot of countries as well. And you just have to be a bit wise with, choosing where you go. But I'm sure London's still a lovely place, despite you see a lot of attacks on the news or whatever. Like, would it feel like that when you're there? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a
I don't
good
know.
point. The government did issue a warning yesterday saying be careful if you're travelling to the UK.
Then maybe not.
Maybe just not at the moment.
But then
yeah.
I guess, is that purely based on, once again, like it's a minority
Yeah, it's definitely
case that's happening.
Yeah. But it's reported 1 million times on 100 platforms, and it feels like it's in your face.
Yeah.
It's like Americans think that the old viewers, kangaroos down the street, main street,
Yeah, we ride them to school.
koalas in every tree ride to school,
No, we do.
It's
What are you talking
crocodiles,
about? We do.
like it's like that's what they think. So maybe,
Yeah, if it makes them feel better. I've never seen a crocodile in my life. Even
No.
well, I have at a zoo, and that's about it. So
yeah.
like in the wild, you don't see that, or snakes
a
or
lot.
spiders or all this. And I'm like, it's funny. You look at that, and I'm like, I'd be more scared of a fucking bear than a snake or a spider.
Shit, yeah.
But they're like, no, snake, spider. I'm like, look at the size of it. Look at the size of that thing.
Talking of bears, have you asked that bear question to female friends?
No, I haven't. No.
Yeah.
Probably because I'm.
You're in the.
Here you go. Upset someone is I go. That's the stupidest question you could ask.
Yeah.
If you decide that you'd rather be in the wild with a bear over a man, go try it. Good luck.
It does say something though, because my daughter Sunshine chose the bear. Now, I think philosophically, it's an interesting question because I don't think it's a metaphor more than a real bear in some ways in my head, but it does it. If women are scared, then that's a problem. Now, are all men bad? To your point, of course we're not all bad. But I know women that won't walk down a street, after sunset, or that won't they will cross a road if they see a man coming. Now, does that mean that man's a bad person? No, but if that's how they're feeling, a bit like what we touched on with my son's mental health last time. If that's how he feels, that's how he feels. I know a lot of women that feel unsafe.
Yeah.
So that's a problem. Doesn't mean we're all bad.
No.
Because it has to be, I have to see it through their lens. And they're telling me they will cross the street if they see two guys together as the sun's going down. It's getting a little bit dark. On a reasonably busy Adelaide street, they will cross the road. And I go, wow, we don't know what that's like. Like, I mean, if I saw a gang of kids, I probably would cross the road. But as in, these are just everyday examples of leaving work or whatever. I think, wow, we as men, we actually don't know what that feels like.
No. And I ponder the thought in some of those cases though, I don't want to walk around at night time on my own. I think sometimes as well, like it's a lot of the things I hear, and it's like, oh, I'm leaving a nightclub, it's 2 a.m. in the morning, and I'm scared to walk down the street. I'm like, yeah, it's fucking 2 a.m. in the morning in the middle of a city. Bad shit happens at nighttime in the middle of the city. I don't want to be there on my own either. Yeah, I'm fucking scared too.
No, I probably need to come back from the nighttime example. I know women that won't run during the day. Through a park. So I'm not. So that was probably an example where we probably all would have an example at 2 a.m. We probably wouldn't be comfortable. No, I'm talking about women that are, what should I wear going for a run? I don't want to run through that stretch of grass in the parklands because I feel unsafe. That sort of probably more just day-to-day examples. And I think, wow, I don't know. And again, have women always felt like that, or is it the reporting of the really horrific incidents magnified in young or females' heads in general because it's top of mind for them? They're going out going, shit, I don't want to go down that street. I don't know. Has it always been that bad? Potentially. Yeah,
it'd be very interesting to whether some people would tell you the truth around where that thought has come from. It's like, well, do you have that thought based on experience or based on social media? Like something happened to a woman as she was going through a park on the opposite side of the world, and therefore you are now don't want to run through a park because you see a guy that looks a little bit shady. It's like, well, so is your feeling of not wanting to run through the park because you saw something in America where a lady ran through a park and something bad happened, whereas where you are in your neighborhood, nothing bad has ever happened. And so that once again, we're pushed. And this feeling, I could be wrong, they could have had experiences as well. I just wonder, is it just social media and media almost telling us we should feel these certain ways? Because at the end of the day, like, it comes back to the lost masculinity. If masculinity and people actually really step into what masculinity should be, it won't be a problem. Because what will really happen is the true masculine man, will be the one that stands up and helps you. Like, I know plenty of guys that would do. All my friends would do that.
I've done it.
Like, if someone goes, and that's not just specific to a bloke doing something to a female doing something to a bloke. You step in when something bad's happening. And so, I wonder, where's that perception fully come from?
Yeah. And I think unfortunately, we're probably living in a world where a lot of people, and I've been in situations where most people won't step in to help someone in distress. They'd rather film it,
Yeah.
or capture it. A situation down at Jetty Road, Brighton, and there was a guy in his maybe 60s and his wife. He was punching on with a cyclist that he must have reversed and nearly clipped this cyclist, and they were trying to throw punches at each other, and there was 30 people around filming it. No one was trying to break them up, and I just finished doing a run along the beach, and I walked up and, I wasn't trying to be a hero. I was like, boys, let's break it up, and just sort of held them apart. And the guy in his 60s looked like he was going to have a heart attack. Like, he was bright red. His wife was yelling and screaming at him. He was really distressed. It was a hot day, and I'm like, dude, you don't want to do this, man. Like,
calm down.
You're embarrassing your wife and you're embarrassing yourself. This is not worth whatever's happening here. But I just remember sort of turning it around. And like I said, it wasn't like, hey, look at me, break up a fight. It was, everyone was filming. And we've all got examples of this. I'm sure I'm going, did no one at any point think that potentially one of these guys get hit, knock their head and never recover? Like, why? And this was just over an innocent accident. It wasn't an act of aggression. The guy didn't see the cyclist, he clipped him. No, he wasn't injured. And you just go, wow, people were more interested in watching that. And that stuff bothers me.
Yeah. But that's where, like, I think I'm happy to say men step up. That's 100%. Not women's job.
Yeah.
Step up.
Yeah, and I thought at that point, because I wasn't being aggressive. It was more of a separation. I thought, I could get king hit in the middle of this.
Well, that's why they always say stand behind sort of thing. Don't get in between because then you're the firing range.
Yeah. So I think at that point, I was like, well, just as a member of society, I feel like it's kind of my duty to try to stop these guys from building each other. Now, look, if they were 6'4", patched up Hell's Angels bikers, or kickboxers.
Be wise with your situation.
Kickboxers, fair to say I probably wouldn't have been quite as heroic, but.
Yeah, but cool. Like, your intervention might just change. It might be call the police. Yeah. Not flip your phone out and start filming them.
Yeah.
No, it's probably handy if there's two of you, one call, one film. So then if something goes wrong, you've got evidence. So I can see where some situations that becomes beneficial. But at the end of the day, you're no use to anyone if you're fucking dead. So if you've intervened and that's got you injured and got you smacked up, well, you're no use to anyone.
Yeah.
So it's the same. Like, what do they say when you go to save someone from the water? Only do it if it's safe for you to do so. Same thing here. Intervene to some extent as well, I think. Like, you don't just jump, if someone's throwing a machete around, I'm not going in.
Probably not going in. No. Well, if anything, my kids would be left with a viral video that hopefully they can make some coin out of. I can pass it on to you guys.
I'm not sure that's what they want either. No. Yeah, I think it's interesting. And I think that's just a lost generation, my generation, unsure of what we are and what we're supposed to do. And maybe because the world's so good in the Western world, but little things like that seem to be common things that pop up, and unsure of how to handle a situation, unsure of how to approach a woman or whatever it may be. It's like, where'd we go wrong? What happened?
Yeah. I'm fascinated by this whole concept of chivalry has turned into sleazy. Now, of course, there's sleazy guys. There's sleazy girls. I'm not saying there isn't sleazy. Yeah. But I don't think... I mean, have you ever heard anyone say the word chivalry? Probably in your age group. I'm guessing it's not. It's a pretty old-fashioned word.
Maybe in some of the things I absorb online, but my social media is not like most people that are 24.
But chivalry in the act of opening a door or picking something up, you feel like now if you open a door for a woman, you'd be like, fucking, I can do it myself, It feels like that's what I mean by chivalry. Just good old-fashioned stuff.
But I challenge people to do it and be surprised at how much people respect it.
I would think so.
I was at work. I did the same thing the other day. Went to a cafe, got a coffee, held the door open, walked through. Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't get a slap in the back of the face. People will respect it. Do it. Test it and realize, and that let's get the ball rolling.
Yep.
Just start to initiate these things to happen a little bit more as well, and start to step into that, because the world I think, a lot of people would say in very good positions was that, I think Joe Rogan talks about this a lot. It's like hard times create strong men create good times create weak men create hard times. And so if we allow, because we're living in good times / quote unquote weak men, and once again, this is men and women, it's just the concept, the term, is if we don't intervene and start to maybe find ourselves and find that chivalry, the masculinity, do it properly, femininity, same thing, find what really works and what has brought us together so much in the past, well, then it could be in for something a bit interesting.
Mm.
When we're all lost and we're all, riled up and angry and whatever it may be, it's like, well, let's start before that sort of goes downhill.
See, I think about the gym, right? Because obviously I see you at the gym a lot. I'm impressed by acts of strength in the gym. I tend to lean towards more powerlifting components. I guess a bit old school with that, bench pressing and stuff. If I saw anyone benching whatever 120, I'd go, wow, man. I'll go up and fist pump a dude and go, do you want a spot? If I look like a guy's going to go heavy, I would jump in. If I saw a female bench 120, I'd almost be a little bit concerned to go up and say, great bench. That's where I'm at. I'm kind of like, does she think I'm being a pervert watching her? Does that? And it would be just an act of, because I love the gym and I love watching people lift things. I find whether it's a dude doing a massive squat or deadlift or whatever, I'm impressed by that. I would say it to a guy, but I don't know if I would go up to a female and say that in a gym, because it could be conceived as, I'm twice your age, right? Could be like, oh, fucking pervert, I'd be like, oh no, I was just impressed that you did that, But and it doesn't have to be 120, by the way. It's all contextual.
I was going to say, that's fucking,
but whatever. If it was a woman benching 50 kilos.
Or if you just notice over the week someone's progressing massively.
You're going, good, good
never
job.
Seen you do that before. Well done.
Fist pump, well done. And I feel like they'd go, yeah, okay, go up to the front counter and report me. I don't know.
But they, and once again, I think they won't. They won't. I've seen, I work in a gym. I do it. I say these things to people. I walk past someone, give them a thumbs up, or you do nice, little things like that. Probably where it gets creepy is when you just hover and you start to be like, so what did you do yesterday? And you're like, all right, buddy, settle down. All right.
Do you want a hand with the squat? No.
I've got the safety bars, mate. You can get your hands off my hips. Thank you. Yeah. And I think and you see videos of it. I love it when you see it. And it's like chicks online and they're like the scary meatheads in the gym that you thought were judging you. And they're like in the background and they're like, yeah. Or they're like, and you're like, just the reaction. You're like, see, it's not fucking dead. It's real. Yeah. We just need to make people more aware of it, that it's okay. You're not actually, people won't judge you. And if they do, if you go up and say to someone, great work, you crushed that, a great squat. And they turn around and be like, don't talk to me. You'd be like, you don't get you don't get, my positivity ever again.
Yeah.
I'll give my positivity to other people. Yep. It's not that people don't, and that one person that decided that they didn't like your chivalry or whatever it is not everyone. To our point again, one person doing something and acting in a way is not everyone.
Yeah.
It's not every woman. It's not every man. It's not every, religion, whatever it is, in any context. It's not everyone.
Yeah.
So keep them, be chivalrous.
And I guess to your point before, if you remain authentic and it's coming from a good place, and perhaps you're probably right, in a very small percentage of chance it's taken in the wrong way, you go, oh well, but I came from a good place.
Yeah.
It wasn't sleazy. It was just me commending your lift,
And I guess you could sit back with that and it's still okay to be like, oh, well, how did I say it? Maybe I have said it in a way that came off wrong. Review, reflect, and be like, no. If you get to the stage where you're like, no, I think I said it fine, it's likely just them. Yeah. Maybe they were having a bad day. Maybe they're scared to react to another man because a partner would get angry and vice versa.
Yeah.
Been in these sort of positions as well, even where you just, you would be scared if a female complimented you. Yeah. And you're like, oh, what if my partner, I don't want to be seen like I'm trying to hit on someone else when I'm with someone or whatever it is. And it's so you can then just understand that they may be in a situation that doesn't allow them to give you the nice response either.
Yeah. Well, I said to you the other day, I said, mate, you've lost weight and you look leaner and stronger. And, I wasn't coming from a sleazy place.
No. It wasn't like, oh, you want my number?
It's like we admire improvement because that's why we're in the gym, right?
Exactly,
I love seeing guys or girls improve in the gym. I think it's an awesome environment for starters. But I'm also big on, I will go up to someone that has a, sometimes you can see someone that used to come into my shop and that they're a little bit awkward and they're shy and they're, through getting to know them as a customer that they're quite insecure. Say, look, I love your t-shirt. Your hair looks great today.
Yeah.
To me, it's about acts of kindness that not being disingenuous and patronizing, but you just realize that one comment and their chest puffs out a bit. And they go, wow, this dude, wow. And they walk out and all of a sudden you go, you just change that person's day.
Yeah.
Like they're kind of going home going, yeah, that guy loved my T-shirt. It doesn't always have to be someone that looks buff and muscly and beautiful. It's just making someone feel better.
Yeah. Even literally like a smile.
Yeah.
I know you may be the same, and I know like through periods of life where I'm like, man, I'm not doing too well. If someone smiles at me, I'm like, oh, what a fucking world we live in.
Yeah.
It literally can change. Like if you're having weeks, months, whatever it is, and you're just kind of like, fuck this, man. Like, what's the point? Yeah. And then someone smiles and goes, have a great day.
Yeah.
Or, they put a little smiley face on your coffee cup and you go, motherfucker.
Yeah.
You have just switched me out of this. Like, and it's so powerful. And I think so, like, it's, and a point of, before this loses my mind, I really wanted to make the point as well. Watching the Olympics at the moment, and you look in the stadium, and you got Sweden, Switzerland, Nigeria, Germany, you've got Israel, you've got Australia, you've got New Zealand, you've got China, and they're sitting next to each other. They're laughing, they're smiling, they're cheering, they're not fighting. Their athlete beat their athlete, but they're still all happy. I'm like, it can be done.
Yeah.
People, 100%. It can be fucking
Have you seen the footage of North Korea getting selfies with South Korea?
Really? I've not seen
that.
Now,
they may go back to their countries and be punished for that, but they're literally on the podium because it was a bronze, silver or gold, silver, and they're literally doing
that's
selfies.
Incredible.
And you go, wow, that's like a moment in time.
Yeah, that's incredible.
And they potentially may have repercussions for that.
Yeah.
But you go, wow, like you say, sport.
But for humanity, it's worth it.
For humanity, you just go, yeah, these people... Yeah, I mean, who doesn't love the Olympics?
Well, that's what fucking sport does. And this is why I know a lot of people like that boycott the Olympics because of some of the things and whatever. And I'm like, no. But let's take the positives here. Look at the people coming together. Look at the athletes. Like, it was like, it was the best thing ever. I think Canadian athletes, gymnasts, and they were like biting their medals. They were gold and silver. And I think the Chinese athlete looked across and was like,
so cute. Yeah, she's
just went to, is that what we're doing? Like,
yeah.
And it's like, oh, fuck, it's amazing.
Because she's probably in a very regimented scheme and it's very, it's deadpan, whereas the Canadians were having fun with it.
It's so amazing to see.
Yeah, and I was watching I don't usually watch climbing. I don't know if you watch the speed climbing.
Oh, it's wild.
And this Indonesian lady with a hijab on, I don't know if that's the right, correct pronunciation, she looks so demure and small because she was, the other girls, you can see their muscles and stuff. Yeah. And she lost by like 0.1 of a second, and you just go, wow, like how cool. Even in every culture and every way they have to present themselves, they can perform at that level,
and with everyone just being there having a good time together. Like that's what it's all about, and that's why the Olympics is so powerful.
Yeah. And it's I used to get up as a little kid at 3 a.m. and watch it. I've always loved it, and now my kids love it. They both rang me this morning and said, did you see overnight? And it is, and it's a good way to unite everyone for 2 weeks. Unfortunately, it's probably post-Olympics.
We need it to last a bit longer.
We need it to last a little bit longer.
Yeah. Well, I put something up on only this morning, I think it was, and I was like, watching the Olympics, it just makes me sit here and go, I'm so proud to be an Australian.
Oh yeah,
so proud of my country, so blessed, so grateful to be here as well. And like, how cool is it that you feel? And I know some people sit out there and they're like, oh, you say we when athletes are competing? I'm like, yes, because that's the 100%, fucking flag that I would wear on my chest and I wear in my heart. So that's we.
100% it is.
And I'm behind them. They feel that. So it's we.
And the chart, I'm assuming you've seen the chart, the ratio versus population. Like, we're fucking killing it. Like it
was like 0.45 medals, gold medals per million or something like that. Yeah. Number one in the world.
And the Americans, if they're ever behind on golds, they list total medals on their CNN. And
they do whatever it takes to win.
Whatever it does to win. It's like, no, gold medals is what we judge it on. And they're like, no, total medals.
But then again, we are sitting here doing the same thing. Like, we're the best per capita. So like,
absolutely.
But you know what? At the end of the day, that probably would be the most accurate measure of how good is a country.
I think it is the ultimate measure.
Fuck them all. I mean, I think we're still third on the medal tally.
And I think we're fairly
5
clear
of France now.
Yeah,
we're cranking. We're on. It's good.
I think that's that Aussie sort of, I don't know, I kind of see us as, I mean, a lot of countries are tough, but it's kind of, we're all kind of ragtag sort of convicts at some point. And there's a toughness and a competitiveness about us. And, you've obviously you still compete in competitive sport, and there's something about Aussies, the way they compete. They sort of punch above their weight division a lot of the time.
Yeah. Well, they just, it's that hunger, that drive. Like I guess it works really well. We're from down under. Like we are the underdogs in a lot of sporting situations we come into. And so you're always on that hustle, that grind, that try and get up there, which is so
and we
cool
do
to
it with
see.
a smile generally. I think.
Oh, yeah.
Other countries seem to like Australians.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, if we lose well.
Yeah, I think we do.
I
was watching the Chinese lose a few things last night, and their coaches looked like a few of their athletes lost the climbing, and they were just like they looked like they were going to take them out the back and belt them. They looked angry.
You're wondering what happens when they go home. Probably.
Yeah, I know. I'm thinking, shit.
Like, fuck, what funding or what living expenses do you not get now because
you lost?
You didn't perform.
You shamed
well.
us.
Yeah, like it's interesting. Although I only realized yesterday the restrictions on like Russian and Belarus athletes.
Yeah,
that's an interesting.
They've sort of kept that pretty low key. I remember reading something a while back about it, but which is interesting again, isn't it? You're sanctioning.
I don't like it.
You're sanctioning. Say you and I are Russian and we flogged ourselves for 4 years, and because something we don't agree with that our country's doing, we don't.
Yeah, I think it's bullshit.
We get sanctioned. I'm like, hold on.
Politics and sport do not go hand in hand. Keep them separate.
Yeah, it's a really interesting one because you have to feel for those athletes because the commitment they put to their sport.
Yeah. Well, tennis did this. Like, tennis does the same thing. Wimbledon doesn't allow them to compete. I think the Australian Open and maybe one of the other majors is the only comp they can compete in.
Yeah.
Wimbledon, I know they definitely haven't been able to for the last couple of years. Russian and Belarus athletes have not been allowed to compete. I just think it's so sad. I'm like, I feel like allowing these athletes to come together. It was different when they had the ban for the drug scandal.
Yeah,
that's a different conversation.
Yes. Yeah,
because they were trying to cheat, but politically, because their leaders have decided to do something they can now not compete.
Yeah,
is so wrong. Like because they've not done anything wrong. But for the most part, we don't know. Maybe some of them post stuff on social media, whatever it may be. Half of them may not even live in Russia. They might just be citizens, and
they probably don't.
They're fucking, I don't know, like
they're probably training in a different facility in the States or something,
Yeah, like so you go to college in America as a Russian, but then you can't go to the Olympics.
Yeah. There's a photo sort of hitting social media at the moment. You look when Germany held the Olympics. I don't know what year it was, but when Adolf Hitler was the leader, and the dude's on the stand getting a gold doing the Nazi symbol, like how far we've come from that. And Jesse Owens, I think, won a gold medal back then as a black American athlete. The fact, and apparently Hitler was not happy with him competing at all because, he wanted his Aryan race. Like there's politics and Olympics gets super messy, super messy.
And so the more that we can keep them at parallels and not cross, the better. I think.
Yeah, I feel like you said, everyone's sitting in the stands. Sport should be the one thing that we kind of just go
keep it there.
Just keep it in the sport.
Fuck me, yeah. Well, because a lot of these athletes would compete and play together on a weekly basis.
Absolutely.
And then so all of a sudden they're different.
Yeah, it's not like the old days where once every 4 years you're competing. Like they're on the same skateboard circuit, same climbing circuit, same running circuit. They're probably, you're a jav thrower. How many meets even in Adelaide do you have versus, then if you were national versus international, you would, I'm assuming 10, 15,
around the world,
20 meets all year. There'd be strong friendships across all of them.
Yeah, I think it's sad.
Yeah. It's not like they're wearing you can't have them wearing a T-shirt that's coming out and saying something that's racist or controversial, but they just want to come out and compete for their country.
But that was the same, like the men, I think the Women's World Cup would have been the same, but definitely the Men's World Cup, like it was, you weren't allowed to come in with any political clothing or anything like that. If you were wearing a shirt that had politics on it and you were seen, you were removed because they said no politics. And that's why, there was a lot of arguing about then the gay flag and things like that. And I think I think the unfortunate, and this is someone that is happily, very proud of my gay married sister. I'm not against it, but I do agree that just keep it out completely during the competition and then speak about those matters on your own social media in your own time. Because once again, I guess the dangerous line of beliefs and things like that as well. If you're competing for your country and that's taxpayer money, a lot of the things that are going on there, and you're floundering this and potentially ruining that opportunity. And people that are paying are like, hang on, what's going on here? I don't agree with that. And so I think just keep it separate for during competition. You can play for your country and have those beliefs and stand by them and speak about them and whatever. But when you're at the World Cup, you're there to play soccer. That's what you're paid to do.
Yeah, you can be an activist 50 weeks of the year and do whatever you want, I guess. If that, I mean, they make you sign documentation, right? That you're meant to stay within the rules. You know, I remember Kathy Freeman winning the 400, and it was considered astonishingly controversial that she had the Aboriginal flag draped over her with the Australian flag. You know, it's like, wow, can you imagine saying that now? But that was considered by, you know, some key people controversial that she dared do that. So, you know, it's interesting how that everything always evolves, I guess.
Yeah, and so that's where I think like I can understand having like a rigid rule in some of those situations, because then you remove the subjectiveness of it, of like, oh, I believe this, I believe that. And it's like, well, no, we just don't do politics. And you just put a blanket rule, and we're here to play sport. And so there's nothing. Because if you allow one thing, then you'll push to allow another thing, and then you say no to one, and they'll be like, well, but you let that in. Well, that's not fair. Now, so you prefer that over this.
100%.
And it gets messy for everyone.
Mate, like I said, there's 10,000 gods, right? Like there's a lot of religions. You know, if you let the Americans have Black Lives Matters T-shirts, all of a sudden there's another country going, well, we've got an issue over here, so we're going to wear this. And then, you know, it doesn't mean any of those issues aren't important. I agree. It's like just for that 14 days, just keep it out of there.
Well, I think it opens us, them as an organization or whatever it may be, up to more issues of discrimination.
Yeah.
By trying to accept everyone and not wanting, then you're still pushing some to the side. Who's doing the discriminating now? Yeah. Well, it's you.
Yeah.
Well, you probably didn't want to do that in the first place.
It's like that, the boxer, you know, the female boxer and the misinformation around that. People were saying she was, you know, the original narrative that she was transitioning, and she's a female. She just happens to have, I don't know if it's XXY or XY. She has one more XY,
I think,
than the average female. But she was born a female, has been raised as a female. It's not her fault she has one more. Is it X, did you say? I don't get that part right.
So it was female XX, males XY.
Yeah. So the narrative was transitioning, unfair, beating up women. It's like, no, she's a woman. So that story got horribly distorted at the start. And then she gets hate and death threats and all these things. Even in that space, I just find that horrible. It's a human being that's getting death threats. I mean, for God's sakes.
Well, I think really you should be pissed off with the organisation that's allowed her to compete if you have an issue with it. She's just playing within the rules that they've given her. I don't agree with her competing in there, but she's not done something wrong in the context of the rules.
Yeah.
So really the issue is with the IOC, I believe, that have allowed, because like you said, like, so she was born a woman. And so the way I framed this, and I've had this conversation with a client only today, and we were, you know, agreeing, but then being like, well, how do we define what the issue is here? Because as a woman, you would be like, what the fuck? Like, because she has the XY chromosome, therefore there's an element of way more manly because she's tested positive for those chromosomes in the past. She hits harder and all these sort of things as well. And because I think, is it called intersex? Maybe they call it when you're born, like a bit of both or whatever it may be. And it's like, so I can understand why women are like, this is bullshit. Then I can understand why her as the boxer goes, I was born a woman. And within the rules, you've allowed me to fight. And then a layer on that, I'm like, the people that say, well, that's unfair to stop her from fighting. And I'm like, I don't think it is the same way that it's some people are just unfortunately born with a disability. You know, like if I had one leg and I was born with one leg, I wouldn't be like, well, that's bullshit that I can't compete evenly in the Olympics with the able body. Well, no, I don't. I have a missing leg. So they're not required to bump me up to make it even for me or equal. And the same here. I think it's just very unfortunate that born with an XY chromosome means you can't compete in women's sport.
So where does she compete? Does she
not
compete, or does she compete in
men's?
Men?
I guess.
Yeah,
because it's a messy conversation.
Then it's a man beating up a woman effectively, and that's when that opens up another massive can of worms.
But I think that can of worms is already opened on the flip side
now,
because she's competing against women that have XX chromosomes that are biologically at a massive disadvantage. Very different to if, you know, she was just naturally born with high testosterone. And and everything else was the same. I'm like, well, that's just a game of luck, like LeBron's game of luck being 7 foot fucking tall and I'm 5'11". I don't stand there and be like, that's bullshit. I want equality to be able to play in the NBA. The fact that he's a whole inch taller than me, a whole foot, taller than me, I think it's a similar sort of conversation. Like, it's just unfortunately very unlucky. But you can't benefit one person at the disadvantage of hundreds, if not thousands of others in that sport.
Yeah. And the thing is, if she goes on to win, it's just, she's just going to get so much hate. It's going to be so it's going to be potentially a hollow victory if she gets up. And I don't know if the final's been or not, but if she wins gold, it's going to be, The Olympics is, it's a microcosm of life, I guess, right? Like there's all of these debates around politics or gender become really interesting. And I played, like I think I told you in the previous pod that, my sisters played really high level sport, played lacrosse for Australia, and they were tough and like your sister, tough soccer player, talented, there. And then there was discussions around whether they could, I think when I was a bit younger, whether some of the women could play in the men's lacrosse, and the debate's been going for a long time. I as a male, I loved the physicality of lacrosse, right? You love taking a guy out, loved being taken out. I just I like the physicality of the sport. Would I run through a female playing? I just couldn't drop my shoulder and do it. Like I personally wouldn't feel comfortable, but I know there was a push at one point whether they could cross over.
Yeah. I think I understand at like a more junior, non-professional level, allowing the very good women to compete in the men's club sport. Like my sister did this. She played club soccer in the men's league because the women's league locally was too easy. And
she was probably destroying the men.
Well, they're probably at a much more even level. At a minimum, a much more even level. But on a professional level, I think then the argument can be then said again, it's unfair to, even if a woman was good enough to play in the men's league professionally as well, because it's the men's league. That's a spot now a man doesn't get. Vice versa, same as this boxing argument, that or a swimming of a transgender athlete or whatever. It's the same argument. That's now a spot that a biological woman doesn't get, and that becomes unfair as well, I think.
Fuck, it's gotten messy, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's bullshit.
It's so messy. Like you can understand how our grandparents just can't get their head around it, right?
Yeah,
like they're like, what's going on? It's a man, it's a woman, and they're going to be set in their ways till the day they die, and they're not going to change their views. But it's a really interesting space.
Yeah. I think it's healthy though to be, like we said before, having conversations that there's no judgment. You're allowed to have your opinion and belief. Neither of us are hating on any of those people that are doing those things. We're just having
100% no.
the conversation, because I think, ask a business owner if there's a person in their business that's fucking sucks, performing terribly, crumbling the business, and they're not doing really well. Will you fire them? Because one person, it's worthwhile getting rid of that one person to benefit all the other people that work, rather than having to tell the others that, business has gone under because I didn't remove someone from the business.
Yeah.
Kind of a similar sort of thing. Like, do you benefit the masses or one person?
Yeah, definitely. And having been a business owner, that space is pretty messy as well. Even telling someone off. Can you tell someone off? Telling someone what to do can be difficult now. People pulling all sorts of cards out saying, but you're saying that because I'm whatever. And you're going, no, I'm just telling you because you didn't do a great job of it.
Maybe it's because you've been a prick.
There's no other reason behind that at all. But,
Well, I think that's, again, people hide and make excuses for themselves as well. Like, take when people get out of crimes on my mental health. You're correct. If you don't kill someone unless you have a mental problem, that doesn't mean you get out of going to jail.
I know, right?
Like what?
The mental health defense, and for someone who's a genuine sufferer of anxiety and depression, I find it just flat out offensive. It just, you can just see it's just a cop out. I mean, clearly there's people that are not wired right, but the mental health argument is that lawyers are putting forward is just becoming more and more and more common. And I just go, fuck, are we just taking the piss out of this now?
Yeah. it's not an excuse still for committing a crime to that extreme.
No, you stabbed him 45 times in the chest.
Yeah.
Mental health issue.
Yeah.
Like,
Don't worry. Go back to society.
yeah, you're all good. Re-assimilate with society.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't think they have the mental capacity for
no,
that.
and I'm not sure that's a great idea. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think, and of how many AFL players, get caught in a drug scandal. Yeah, my mental health was bad at the time.
Yeah.
Mate, you did cocaine, you got caught. Fucking
Yeah.
own it. Don't blame something. Like, because I think that's, there's a line. Sure, mental health may have played a role, but sit there and be a role model to the future generations of owning what you did. I was going, just say, yep, I made a mistake.
Yeah. Yeah, mate, it affects.
I'll respect you.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I've just resigned from my job because it was affecting my mental health in ways that were really impacting my life. Now, is that my job's fault or my boss's fault? Not at all. It's I'm owning it. It's me. I'm having a bad little stretch at the moment. I'm not about blaming the world for it or blaming the trauma from my childhood about it. I'm always about I think we spoke about that again in the last pod, but it's like I've had to walk away for my own mental health, and I need some space at the moment. I need to work out what I need to do next with my life. But I'm not pointing the finger at anyone, because triggers could happen for me for a whole lot of reasons, But I'm not a fan of people, whether it's doing horrible crimes or just continually blaming the mental health, because then for the people that genuinely suffer, like myself or my son or people that I love and care about, it's like, fuck you. You're actually making it really hard for us, because when we're struggling and we have to step away or walk away from something, it's a genuine reason. I didn't finish up this job because I'm lazy and I hate working. It's because I need to do this for my own personal mental health.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not in the habit of walking out of jobs. I don't think I've ever resigned from a job in my life, but I know people that will personally know people that have used the mental health card that don't suffer. And I go, fuck, man, I don't like that.
Yeah, but also if you are suffering, what you've done there and how you've positioned that is so empowering, because it puts you in control. You're owning what's happening. Like, if you just label it as mental health on its own, then also you're kind of labeling it as like, I can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
And I think that's where you start to get stuck in a rut where you're like, that's just the way I am.
Yeah.
It's not. It's not. Yeah. And I think we did touch on this in the gym the other day as well. It's like when you're going through periods of like depression or anxiety or whatever it may be, and it brings back maybe some of that childhood trauma, it's like, well, okay, so that childhood trauma was always there. And I don't know, whether there's a way of even removing that, or whether it just does become a better way of handling it even.
Yeah.
But it was lifestyle, psychosocial factors that brought it back up. So focus on these things. You may not be like changing this, but you're changing the trigger that brought it back up.
100%.
Therefore, it is in your control.
Yes.
It's not in your control to change what your experiences were as a child. You can't go back on that, or in life in general. But it's what you've got now, which is knowing what triggers it and learning those things and putting yourself in the right environment, getting out of a bad relationship or whatever it may be. We've all done it before. I've done it, whatever it is, in any circumstance of your life. And you go, oh, wow, I feel so much fucking better now.
Yeah.
And, 2 days ago, I was an angry fuck that was just wanted to beat the whole world up.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm good because I removed myself from what situation was triggering that.
Yeah. And then you're spot on, because I was telling a friend this morning, as a child, you're born with all this innocence and this, we all love watching a laughing, smiling child, because they're just so pure and innocent, and they're not, it sounds really horrible, but, I'm not making it poor me, but like, everyone has a level of trauma, distress, emotional things, that scars that start layering on your brain, and then you get into your 50s like me, and then it feels like things are starting to come undone. As a little child's just pure and innocent, you sort of you can't change. I don't believe you can't change that trauma, but you can, to your point, you definitely can remove yourself from triggers. I call them triggers, or situations that trigger it. And that could be an intimate relationship. It could be removing yourself from a family member.
Yep.
It could be a brother or a sister or a mother or a father or an intimate partner, a job. There's a whole lot of ways that I'm getting better at just going, okay, this isn't good for me.
Yeah.
Because the old persevere, push through, she'll be right, mate, fucking head down, bum up. I tell you, there's a lot of darkness at the end of that. If you're in if you genuinely suffer, it's not a good path to keep going
Yeah.
down. And I'm resilient, and I consider myself reasonably tough from a work ethic point of view because I grew up in an environment where you had to work. So it's not I know it's not my work ethic. I know it's not my value and moral system around work and hard work.
Yeah.
But I know when triggers, you kind of hang in there for a month or two, and then all of a sudden you go, "Oh no, this is this isn't a bad day. This isn't a bad week. This isn't I'm just feeling a bit off color." You start getting into territory. You go, I need to change something. And as per the last pod, I don't have a plan B. So,
So then it gets a little bit like,
remember how I proudly said I don't have a plan B? This time feels a little real because I don't have a job.
Yeah.
So, but this is classic, classic me.
But also like owning the decision. It was still a decision.
Yeah.
You chose that decision to not have the job was outweighed the decision to stay in a job that was damaging you.
Yeah.
And so you sit and accept your decision. So whatever you choose to do in any situation or circumstance, just accept it.
Yeah.
And
like I said, about the business, objectively, it was fucking madness opening a business during a pandemic. Objectively, walking out a job on Monday with no income is fucking complete madness. I don't have a plan B, and it doesn't make any sense. But it's a self-preservation thing.
Yeah,
less entrepreneurial spirit from the business. This one's more about self-preservation. But I'm owning it. I'm a big believer in the universe. I just figure it'll all work out right.
Well, if you then put yourself forward now and start to do the right things, that's where it's nothing really does. Just if I just sit on the couch for 5 weeks straight, nothing's going to fall in my lap. But if you do the right things, and go after the right things, then people fall into your lap.
Yeah.
You get lucky from the things that you've done.
Yeah, this is where routine's important to me. So, and as you know, because you train a lot, and I'm in the gym 5 days a week. If I'm not at the gym, I'm walking or running or swimming or doing something. So, excuse me, applying for jobs now becomes a routine. Like I was up at 5 a.m. this morning, I have a shower, I have a coffee, I have toast. I'm fresh in front of the laptop. Right? Search, bang, cover letters. Sitting on that couch scenario just isn't. That's when things start to get really loose. I have to have that structure until I've spent 2 hours in front of that laptop, at least applying or looking, or proactively looking. Whether it's on Seek or contacting people through DMs or on LinkedIn or wherever, I have to stick with that process, and I figure it'll work itself out.
Yeah, and that's where probably like your point of head down, bum up, grinding through things. In some situations is a good thing, in others is not. It's like if you're grinding, like to your point of the job you're in at the time and all that sort of stuff. A little bit different to maybe now if you go out and you're looking for a job and it's hard, but you're like, I got to fucking stick to it. I'll keep going. I'll try things. Or maybe, that person from this time. And you do go through your resources, you hustle, you work to get it done. That's different.
Yes.
They're very different situations. Or like an example of what I'm going through now, I have loads of challenges with the business I'm working on. That doesn't mean I shouldn't put my head down, bum up, grind, get through it. And there'll be periods where I'm like, fuck this is hard, this sucks, this, that, whatever. It's knowing when to do that and when it's not a good idea.
Yeah.
I think
an analogy for you, I guess, as a personal trainer would be, pushing through those deadlifts and through pain and fatigue and I love it when you post it because I live my life the same way. Wake up tired, in a bad mood, feeling a bit depressed. I'd force my shorts and sneakers on.
Work to be done.
I will get in the car and I will go to the gym, and I feel like it's the last thing in the world I want to do. And I always have the best sessions when I'm like that.
Yeah.
But if I pulled my hammy and my shoulder was starting to get loose, and then I'd noticed, I don't know, like I was feeling sick or something, that's when, listening to your body in the physical sense. For me, it's that. Also with the brain, like listening to the brain and actually acknowledging it and going, okay, that's something I can push through. This one's been hanging around for a while. I think I need to change something.
Yeah, I wonder, it just made me think of a good example of that, of in, say, the gym point of view. It's like knowing when to push through something versus when to kind of give it some time or give it rest or change it. Is like, all right, I've got a fucked up shoulder. Like I can't bench press. But I got my left arm and I got my leg. So grind and push through
Yeah,
and
yeah.
do these 3 limbs and the rest of my body, but be smart and wise and don't grind through an injury on my right shoulder.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And that's probably, I think, frames it quite nicely in the way that it's like, you can grind through some things, but like if you're fucking injured, you're injured.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know, don't be stupid.
Yeah.
And the same thing, if your brain's injured, don't be stupid. And that probably ties back to the mental health side of things. And if you know that bench pressing at the moment is crushing your shoulder and it really brings back this pain and this trauma, remove yourself from it, like removing yourself if you know going to that job and being around that certain group of people or whatever it may be is bringing back something in you that you don't like, don't do it. Same sort of thing. You're like, you wouldn't do it for a muscle, so why do you do it for the mind?
Yeah, it's a good analogy, and it's like funny because I walked in to Revo last night, and I was doing squats, and I walked straight into the bar, and the blood started coming out, and I had an egg, and then I went up to Maddie on the counter because I know her, and I said, mate, she goes, what's going on? And I said, mate, sorry, can I get a Band-Aid because I don't want to bleed on the equipment? And she's like, she's got a bit of an egg, and I remember thinking, I was thinking of going for a PB last night, and she said, you sure you're not concussed? And I went, I don't reckon tonight's a good night for a PB. I reckon I'll just drop it back and go for some reps because I had this vision of me going for the big one and just blacking out. I was going, no. So a little bit of pain. It was essentially, it's superficial, but I was trying to listen to my body going, I'm the sort of person that will go for a PB and black out.
Yeah.
I'm the idiot. I'm the guy.
You'll grind it. And that's the thing, like people, you know, if you're the person that is just using so many things for a cop out and a way out, and if you're like, I've got a little cut on my finger, I can't do this. And you know, you just fucking avoid everything. I'm like, well, that's a little bit different. You're just being fucking soft.
Yeah,
like there is like, come on, man, do the work, get it done, put the head down, go. Don't be soft. But in a circumstance where you're actually injured, don't be like, no, just grind through. Like and that's where I guess like the Goggins messaging as well. Like, dude, I love that, man. But people take it out of context as well. And just because he decided to run on blisters and bloody this and on that, it's like, man, if you're fucking injured, don't push through an injury. There's things you can do around it. You can still train. Don't be stupid.
And it's all about I used to run a lot. I've stopped at the moment. A bit of a love-hate relationship with it. That, my time and my distance contextually is completely different than yours, completely different than someone that might be, morbidly obese that's working on it. Like, I think that comparison thing, using the Goggins example, I think it's a dangerous space. Like, what I bench press and what the next person bench presses is really completely irrelevant. You're in the gym. Fucking hats off to you, man. I don't care if you're benching 20 kilos or 120. And if you're progressively overloading and you're maxing out and you're stressing all the things that you know much better than I do, just go more power to you. I don't care how long it took you to run. So I know some people that are embarrassed to tell me what they ran 5Ks, and I'm like, own it.
Go for helps. I wouldn't fucking make 5Ks.
Yeah, don't be embarrassed about it. Don't compare it to my time, because I guarantee you, if you think my time's quicker, I'll introduce you to a guy that's half of my time.
Fucking bags.
So it's just the fact that you're there doing it, I think is, And I'm even noticing now because my son, I call him my coach. He's my strength coach, and he's launched an app, and he's struggling with motivation at the moment, because I'm sure you're a personal trainer, right? But it doesn't mean you don't struggle with motivation, right?
I went about 6 months not wanting to train.
Right.
Still did it. But.
Yeah, So and a lot of the messages he's taught me, and a lot of the stuff that I'll say to him, like, mate, you got to get back in a caloric deficit, and he's like, oh, I'm tired, I'm fatigued, I slept in. I'm like, I don't give a fuck, mate. Your body and your brain don't give a shit how tired you are, and it's tired for. I'm not talking about genuine injury reasons. He's like, oh no, I'm just in a bit of a funk at the moment. I'm like, don't want to know about it. So I'm sort of become his personal trainer in a way.
Yeah.
I'm like, because I'm the dad, right? I don't give a fuck about your excuse unless your leg's hanging off or you have an immune system deficiency or something is medically dangerous. I don't want to know about any other excuse.
Well, this is our point before of like choosing when to grind and when to not.
Yeah.
If you're just like, can't be bothered, grind, get it done. If you're like, no, I'm coughing up mucus and my head feels like it's going to explode and my knee's fucked, it's like a little bit different.
Yeah. He'll just it'll be, at the moment it's more of a tired, and he'll use language like, so I woke up 3 days ago, and And he was sort of beating himself up a little bit. Obviously, being a personal trainer, there's a certain amount of pressure for you guys to look and feel strong and be positive and stuff. And I woke up, because I wake up early, and I wrote 10,000 steps, caloric deficit, strength training, no excuses, none. And I sent it in caps.
Beautiful.
And he woke up and he sent me a message. It was beautiful. And he's like, Dad, just clocked over 10,000 steps on the way to the gym. And I'm like, fucking bang.
And how good would you have felt because of that?
So much better. And I said, right, day one, again tomorrow, right?
That shows the power of hanging with the right people
yeah,
as well.
Yeah. It's like, you push, like you say, push at the right time. But I'm tired. I can't be bothered in the way I got brought up and the way I mentioned to you in the gym the other day. I'm a 53-year-old dude. I'm not an athlete. I don't play any sports. I train like an athlete because I enjoy it. Like if I'm not at the gym grinding and progressively overloading and hustling, I may as well not be there.
Well, this is the point of masculinity as well. Masculine is the pursuit. It's the purpose. It's chasing. It's the fulfillment of that as well.
Yeah.
And so if you're in a period of your life where you feel like you don't have that, well, do the gym, do jiu-jitsu, go running, do whatever it is, and find that pursuit and that purpose in an aspect of your life while you wait and you find your way with your career or whatever it may be.
And who cares how good you are? Do jiu-jitsu, roll on the mat, lose 40 bouts in a row. Who cares?
I'm fucking doing it, right?
Who cares, man? You're doing it, And I think people, like that's what I love, the gym environment. I love that gym bro relationship where guys or girls, but in this case, guys respect guys, because I'll always fist pump a dude when I see him do something. I did a bench the other day, and this is a really big guy that I've got to know from the Marion one. Now he's training at Glenelg. He'd be 100, 105 kilos, built like a brick shit house. And my son's taught me some really good, I was old school form, flat back, shit, close to the neck, all the shit, didn't arch my back, I call it the Ronnie Coleman era.
Just fucking grab the bar and go.
Just go, and he goes, Dad, if you drop it, it's going to actually cut your jugular off. I'm like, don't worry about it,
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm not going to drop it.
And this guy, so I planted my feet, I arched my back, raised my hips, lowered my hips, got everything right, and I'm really focused, like I'm really in the zone with my benching now. And this dude must have been sitting back. I could sort of see out the corner of the eye, he'd stopped his exercise, he's watching me, and he did it. I did the bench. And he came up to me and goes, man, I just want to say, your form, I love the way you fucking just nailed that. You got in the zone and you did it. And I'm thinking he's come over to tell me because I'd hit a big number, right? And I'm thinking, this dude's, my ego's going, he spotted my number. He didn't give a fuck about the number. He wanted to talk to me about my form. Mate, and I'm like, and I've rung Levi and goes, he was so proud. He's going, Dad, do you know how much that means to me?
Yeah.
He has, it's your form. He was impressed with. So I'm going, whoa, yeah. But I love that gym mentality when guys or girls have got each other's back and they respect, like I say, regardless of the weight or the exercise, the fact that your form's right or you've grown or you've got that one last rep out and your brain's nearly exploded while you're doing it, Yeah.
And I think with the comparison thing, I was speaking with one of the guys at jiu-jitsu the other day, is that if you're comparing yourself to the 1% or whatever it may be, in this context, say jiu-jitsu, the gym, all right? So I'm rolling on the mats. And as a white belt who's been doing it for 6 weeks, I'm like, man, I suck, which I do in comparison to the blue, purple, brown, black belts, and even a lot of the white belts that have been doing it for 12 months. But what I forget to measure if we're playing that comparison game, which, like we said, is not necessarily the healthiest thing, but it's a nice time sometimes to remind yourself of how far you are and how well you're doing is, well, look how many people aren't even on the mats in the first place. Look how many people aren't in the gym in the first place. It's like, so I'm comparing myself to the 1%.
Yes.
So when I compare myself to the 100%, well, I'm probably not far off the 1%.
Yeah.
Like you actually realize,
you're in a small niche already.
Yeah, when you're in the gym and you bench press or you deadlift 100 kilos for the first time and you go, oh, fuck, and dude just did 200 next to me. It's like, yeah. Go on the street and deadlift 100 kilos. Most people can't fucking do it.
Yeah.
So you're comparing yourself to the top percentage already.
Yep.
Therefore, you're actually doing really well. Regardless, once again, effort is the main thing there that people are looking for. If you're pushing your sets and you're training hard, it was just a really amazing awakening. I was sat on the mats and the guy was like, holy fuck, that's incredible. And he was like, yeah. And even like, if I was to fight myself when I started 3 months ago, I'd destroy myself. And I think that's a healthy comparison is like, where was I? Where have I come to?
Mm.
And the journey in between. And then, just a reminder of, if you're in there, if you're in that environment, you are the 1% already.
You're winning, man.
You're fucking better.
What's
like, you're on.
that saying about, comparison is the
thief of all joy.
Yeah, the thief of all joy, Like I'd remind myself of all that, because I love my strength training. But if I compare my deadlift to, you're deadlifting 230, I go, oh, fuck. But like, why am I even comparing myself to you? Like, my joy isn't your joy, and what you do and how you train is completely different. And I watched the skateboarding last night, and I don't know if you saw it, but there's a legend, like Tony Hawk's best mate, McKay. He competed, I think he's 51. And the dude, and he hit it. There was no way he was going through to the finals. The joy on this dude's face, like he was just loving it. The crowd were loving it. The young kids were loving it. And he couldn't pull the 540s, and he couldn't pull the stuff that these kids were doing because it was too dangerous. But he just competed for his country and absolutely loved it. And there was a dude from South Africa that was 49. And had long grey hair. He looked like just a fucking pot-smoking hippie. No shit, his merch didn't even look right. He looked like he was down at the local park. Like he was barely pulling any moves. And he was just the happiest dude. And
he's probably high as fuck.
Probably high. I think he was South African. And the crowd just absolutely loved him.
Yeah.
And in that moment, he didn't give a shit where he finished. He's at the Olympics at 49. And he's competing, and he knew he was going to come last. But to see a 49 and a 51-year-old both compete doing the thing that they love, why would you compare yourself to Keegan, who's just won the gold medal for Australia, his second gold medal, and he's 21?
Fucking crazy.
Like you go, what? There's no point. Just enjoy the moment.
Yeah. And that's it. I think it's finding the times, and like comparison can be healthy and can be necessary in some scenarios. Yeah. And I was like, speaking with the business owners, the people that I speak with on here, it's like, no, you are competing in business. Like I'm starting an app. Well, I'm competing with the other apps out there. I do have to compare myself to them. I do have to be better than them. But on the day, I think on the micro level, on the day-to-day, the tasks you can actually do, that's where you don't compare. Like it is you versus you at that stage.
Yeah.
But then the actions I'm trying to take is to get to the stage that I'm doing better. But it's also like there's not only one person that succeeds, not only one podcast that people listen to that does well. I'm not comparing myself to Joe Rogan, or at least not the Joe Rogan that's been doing it for 15 plus years. Maybe the Joe Rogan that's 30 episodes in, I might be like, what was he like at that stage, or this or that? It's like, and I think so. Maybe that's like the comparison of the same chapter. If I walk into if I go to the mats and I'm comparing myself to the fucking black belt, in the right now, I'm like, well, that's fucking stupid. But if I compare myself to some extent to someone else that started at the same time as me that is also only going twice a week, then I can get a good measure of like, am I progressing well? Maybe, or am I? And then that could flag maybe I'm not trying hard enough. Maybe I could be doing a little bit better. Maybe he's watching some YouTube videos and I could do that. And so I think it's finding a way to use it in a healthy way. Can be a good thing as well. And it's once again, absolutes are always wrong in my opinion. Like the comparison is the thief of joy. Great statement. We all know what it means, but I still think if you break it down, it's wrong because comparison can be what's necessary as well in some situations.
And in sport and physicality, it's definitely, I use, my lifts to Levi to try to motivate him and vice versa. But I know I'll plant a seed if I go, I've benched this, or deadlift this. It does plant a little seed, and he'll go, oh, I wonder if I can do that, or but it's a healthy challenge.
Exactly,
it's not an ego challenge. It's not the old man's stronger than you at this. It's just kind of like bang, and I think that's when it's healthy. And I agree with you on the business thing because I sort of flipped into this abundance mindset about 3 or 4 years ago. Through I think it was Deepak Chopra. I don't know if you know anything.
Oh yeah.
So he's all generally those gurus, all those type of people are really about abundance. I used to be very much love's limited, money's limited, joy's limited. It's finite. And I don't know if you've ever had this mindset where if something good happened in my life, okay, something bad's coming. Something bad's coming.
This too shall pass. Sort of
thing. I was kind of very negative around. Perhaps because of my childhood, I not too much good can happen to me. There's going to be bad after good. And then I started meditating to him and listening to some podcasts from Sadhguru and Deepak Chopra. And it's just that mindset of there is an abundance of love and joy and happiness and health. There's not actually a limit on any of it. And if you can take that approach into business, and I always just think, you shouldn't get spiritual about wealth because that kind of feels selfish. But he kind of says, well, no, it's not. Like you're starting an app. Why can't you have an abundance of wealth? There's something wrong with thinking that.
If you're being moral about how you're obtaining that wealth, once again, subjective, but if you're not an arsehole, you probably know what it roughly means.
Yeah, and there's no limit to why can't you be, for example, Joe Rogan or a fitness influencer or whoever it is. Like there's enough room for everyone.
Yeah. It's like people. Also, I think if you say the wealth point of view, if you say I want to be a millionaire, well, now you're limiting yourself to being a millionaire. It's like, well, what's to say you can't be more?
Yeah.
And because then it's always about like, it's the person you got to build yourself into the person that could become a millionaire, not try to obtain $1 million.
Yeah.
Because then you could do so much more, or you could do it again, time and time and time again. And it's so like just the slight reframe of some of those goals, and it gives you that abundance as well.
And the challenge, that's the thing I always like to hopefully install in my kids, whether it's subliminal or whether it'll sink in later, is I consider myself a pretty simple guy. I left school in the first term of year 12, kind of ADHD brain, struggle. My brain's not wired for study. It's, call myself, a bit wanky, but a student of life, street smart, not book smart. But, I had a goal. I wanted to be in radio, so I worked in radio. I did a couple of on-air shifts. That was a dream. Then I wanted to work in football for the club that I love. I'm a third-generation Port supporter. Got a job at Port Adelaide. I was a lacrosse player, played a couple of shitty seasons of footy at school. My mates were all great footy players. And I was like, I want to be an AFL coach. And you go, because I think our mindsets are quite similar. Like, don't limit yourself to, and I coached my daughter's local footy team, which was one of my great passions. I loved it. And I thought, well, why can't I coach at AFL level? Like if you talk about aspirations or sporting clubs that are great, they go, we want to be the best sporting team in the world, not in Australia. Like you got to think bigger, like don't millionaire, billionaire, whatever. And I remember thinking to myself, I didn't play footy. I don't have any reputation with footy. I don't have, is it possible? And I sat down and I went and spoke to the director of football, and he said, what are we going to do to get you there? And I said, well, I'd love to do my AFL level 1. So I did that. And then he said, and then I went back to his office and did that. And I said, I want to do my AFL level 2 coaching course, and did that and passed that. And then started coaching at Magpie Reserve level, which contextually in AFL is, I was the bottom of the food chain. But all of a sudden I'm sitting in a change room with semi-professional athletes going, how did I get to this point? But it was just through pure determination. I always say I can do a lot of different things okay, but I don't think I'm great at anything, which, almost to your really early point about I think being multifaceted in life or business is certainly important, but ticking little boxes like that, working in radio, doing 2 on-air shifts, producing a sports show in radio, sitting in a change room with professional athletes and coaching them at footy, which was a sport I didn't play. I felt like an imposter, like 100% felt like an imposter, I guarantee you. But in that moment, you just got to believe in yourself and you're delivering a message. And, I was an assistant coach, so it's not like I had to lead the team, but, on game day, you get given the forwards to coach. And I feel like I'm coaching these really talented young guys, and I never really played football. So there's part of my brain going, this is just madness. But I had my AFL level 2 certificate, which is a great course to do. Usually you find, Ken Hinckley, AFL level, they do AFL level 3. And you can do a 4 now, but 3 usually gets you a senior job. But I've tried to install in my kids that, and then opening a streetwear shop during a pandemic, all these little things, I want them to sort of believe or chase something and believe you can do it, and not put those limits on yourself.
I always say, why not me?
Yeah.
Why not? And
exactly.
When you break down the highest achievers, external to some maybe genetic factors of height and things like that in the NBA.
Yeah.
You look and you go, a lot of people, and you're like, they kind of started out the same as I did.
Yeah.
They didn't have the skills that they have now. They were a bit like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
Yeah.
But step by step, they built themselves, and
Yep.
they character built, they skill stacked, they upgraded their character, and upgraded themselves in the game of life to get to where they are. Why not me?
And it goes back to you hear it a lot in sport, but I won't be outworked.
Yeah.
So you maybe technically I don't have the jiu-jitsu skills that you might have a young kid that grew up in a Brazilian family that
Since 3 years old, it's been ankle locking people.
But is he going to outgrind me? No. Is he going to outwork me? No. Like sure I might lose, but and I tend to do that when I run. Like running I love as a physical and mental challenge.
Yeah.
Like how much, at what level of pain can I get past that's going to get me past that other person in the race? Because yes, there's the physical ability and the limitations, of course, but remember when I used to do city to bays and I'm so determined and competitive with myself because running's a very personal challenge, and I would be passing dudes on the home stretch that look like they've been carved from stone in their little running shorts, and they look like Athletics Running Club, and I'm in fucking boardies with my shitty shoes, and I'm passing them going, but it was just pure, I don't know, stupidity or grit or grind, and getting to the finishing line. And I remember the ambo coming up to me and going, "Dude, are you all right?" I was on the ground, like I'd nearly killed myself, and I'm like, not going to be outworked.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. I've said, I don't know, some people don't like to verbalize what they want to do with their life. I love doing it. Maybe I just like proving people wrong.
Yep.
And people will be like, that's crazy. And, I said to someone the other day, they're like, oh, the app, da-da-da. I'm like, so what's the long-term vision? I'm like, I'm building the Apple of fitness. They're like, ha, ha, ha. I'm like, no. It's not going to happen tomorrow.
Mm.
And I say to people all the time, like, this is my life project. It might take 25 years, might take 50 years. I don't know, but where I'm at right now, I see myself doing this for my whole life, passing it on to the next generation or whatever it may be. People go, oh, when do you want to exit that? You build it up to X and then exit. And I'm like, sure, let's set it up in a way that can be done. I'm not thinking like that.
Mm.
This is what I'm doing, and call me naive, call me stupid, laugh at me all you want. I'm like, I don't care. I'm going to do it. I'm going to fucking, I am. I'm not even going to try. Like, that's the pursuit. Like, it's, you have to be naive. That's, Michael Jordan, he was fucking naive, didn't make his college basketball team and became the greatest of all time. Mm-hmm. He was naive in thinking that he'd even make it into the NBA after getting cut from a college basketball, high school basketball team. Sorry, I think it was. That's naive. And that's fine. That's healthy. You have to be a bit.
And the fact that
a bit fucked up in the head, I think.
I think there is. There's that part courage, part naive, part just complete stupidity or madness. Not that what you're doing is stupidity or madness, but just thinking of my example of the shop, and you just go, I think that serial entrepreneurs get it when you sit in a room and talk to people. It's almost like I'm constantly thinking about the next business I want to open, and I'm really self-patronizing. I'm a serial entrepreneur that never makes any money, but that's I'm at peace with that now.
That's the acceptance of the decision, isn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of like I had a kid's streetwear shop, and then part owner of a barber shop. And have I got much to show for it? No, but it's the journey. It's the I sit there with the grandkids going, yeah, well, Grandpa did do that, and he had a crack, and I'd love to open a tattoo studio. Am I a tattooist per se? No, but I'd love to be involved, and I love the culture of street and tattoo art, and that's just something that's another little bucket list thing I want to do. I'll find a way to do it.
Yeah.
I've approached a few tattooists to see if they want a partner, and they're not ready at the moment, but I wasn't a barber and got involved in a barber shop. So I think, until people say no or the door completely closes, I'll keep doing.
Yeah, but sometimes, what? Kick the fucking door down.
Yeah.
That's my that didn't work. Okay, I'll, if the people are not there, then it's like, I'll teach myself.
Yeah.
Fuck you then.
Like surfing 3 summers ago, I've always loved surfing and never been able to surf. And I'm respectful of the surfers out there. I don't call myself a surfer because I don't feel like I deserve to be called a surfer. But I surf. I've bought 3 boards. I stand up on them. I catch the odd wave. I don't call myself a surfer. But that was another little personal journey. I'm like, I'm an ocean person. I want to be on waves. I want to work out a way to do it. So yeah, I love little challenges.
Yeah.
And there's always another one.
Yeah. Like you said, you find a way. Like it's, you do. And I think I was talking with, recent pod that I put up, Lucas Owen, naturopath, men's health sort of thing. And, talking about dopamine, and it's the pursuit. Like he said, dopamine is not when you get the thing, it's the pursuit, and it's just before you, it's right, it's at the pinnacle, it's just before, that's dopamine. And that really was quite interesting. And that's why, like, when there's a lot of effort involved, the dopamine reward is much healthier and much greater. That's why when scrolling your phone, you're getting dopamine, but there's little effort to that reward. You're just getting reward. Therefore, that's what some people bad dopamine in comparison to the dopamine you want going for a run, training, sunlight, fresh air, reading a book, cooking, because there's some effort involved. And it's the same thing here. Like the pursuit of that, even just thinking about it, I feel that euphoric feeling of dopamine that I know that's that dopamine feeling because I'm kind of, putting myself into the situation and feeling the process, but I can see the reward, but it's the pursuit that I'm feeling. That's what really, you're like, wow, that's fucking exciting.
Yeah, well, that's my surfing analogy. I go down, I don't chase big waves because I'm not good enough. If I fall off 20 times and I catch 3 waves, I'm fine with that. Like I laugh when I get wiped out. Like it's the joy of being in the ocean. It's the joy of attempting it. It's to me, the dopamine is just being at the beach on this vessel that holds me up on a wave.
Yeah, exactly.
Not how well I surf. So I kind of, that's my example of it. And you'll get dopamine chasing and building this dream of yours, and you'll get it the whole time. And I'm sure once it launches, you'll keep getting it because you'll find ways to improve it.
Well, that's it. It's ever, like you said with business, like it's ever growing, it's ever adapting, it's continuous. It's not. You don't win in business, like what Mosey says, to win in business, you stay in business. Yeah, like that's like really like it's if you wanna be there for the longest period of time, like you don't get there, make $1,000 and then go, well, me done. Or get there, make $1 million, me done. Yep. It's like, well, how do you do it again and again and again and again? Like that's succeeding, winning, I guess, in that construct.
And if I said to you right now, look, I want to back you. I want to give you $1 million for your app. You'd be like, that's really cool. Thanks. But it kind of, you wouldn't get the same dopamine.
No.
As what you're doing now, because the grind for you sounds like where your dopamine's coming from. Yeah, it'd be nice to have $1 million, right? But it's kind of like
fucking hand it over if you want.
Do you know what I mean? Like if you grew up in a super wealthy family and they're buying you the car, buying you this, I know examples of people that have been given a shit ton of money from their parents, and money. And I tell this to my kids. I promise you, money does not guarantee you success. I've seen so many people fail in business that started with lots of money. Because it's about the grind and the want and the desire, and I think that's a big part of it, and that's what you're getting. That kind of, because when you get there, that's going to be euphoric, right? That's going to be your what I call, when I do something, it's like your grand final.
Yeah, but then next season starts.
Then you'll go again, right?
Like it doesn't stop. Like, and so that's where I think too many people have their eyes set on. That's why I like to be such that I call the 100-year plan sort of thing, because it's beyond my lifetime, potentially with who knows technology and whatever it may not be, but it's assumably beyond my lifetime. So I'm not actually like it's not a short-term goal. So therefore, like it's not like it's over. It's just like that was a step along the way. Yeah. And so that was a success, and now we're on to the next thing, the next challenge, the next this, whatever it may be. And well, look, it may not work for everyone, but that framing has really helped me to, I guess, be more accepting that it may not happen overnight as well. Yeah. It takes time.
And you, from what I know of you, you like stretching yourself, jiu-jitsu, jav, weight training. Like I'm wired that way as well. I need to be stretched. I don't want to be, and that's one thing I've learned through gym training and this program from Levi's. I'm actually lifting weights I didn't actually physically know I could. And that's not just sounding like an egomaniac, because like I say, it's contextual, because the guy next to me could be lifting a lot more. He's now taking me into a space that at 53, he says it's kind of counterintuitive. It doesn't actually make sense what I'm lifting and how I'm getting stronger. But it also tells me, I wasn't training correctly prior.
Yeah.
And it also fascinates me what the human endeavor is. Like, if I can do it, anyone can do it if they just have the right program or the right training, or they eat right or get enough protein. And I had limitations on what I could lift, and I've now surpassed that comfortably. I'm now starting to really be fascinated by what the human endeavor can do. Yeah. I'm kind of going, I mean, it's a very selfish, very personal journey, but I'm kind of going, I'm going into spaces I didn't know I could go. So now it's opening up my mind, going, fuck, you know. And like I say, it's only for me. It's a journey for me. But I want to keep proving. I don't ever want to get old. I just want to keep proving that I can coach a footy team. I can do an on-air shift in radio. You know, whatever. Lift a certain amount of weight. I need to constantly challenge myself. I'm not a sit on the couch, just get comfortable guy,
no.
You know.
But that's a reminder, like, people go, I'm 30 now. So I'm like, what? Like, once again, it's another lie you've been sold. That you've fucking bought into. It's like, here you are, you're bench pressing more than you've ever done, you're squatting more, you're deadlifting more, you're fucking probably running, doing all this sort of things. It's like, and yet once upon a time, someone told you at 30 it would all come crashing down.
Yeah.
Fuck that. Like, you know, even, you know, the amount of guys that, one of the same guy that I was having the conversation with about like playing in the 1% with the jiu-jitsu, his 2 kids, like 34 or something, just started. Oh, but it should be too late, especially in jiu-jitsu. You know, my joints, my this, my that. I'm like, fuck that.
That's great time.
He's like, the best time is now. Like, I'm on. Like, it's, and so like people put too many constraints on themselves and boundaries in this box. And I think, and you're probably similar, what, you know, well, yes, you said, you know, dropped out of school, first term of year 12. Sure, I pursued school and I finished it and I did all that, but I could never feel like the same path that the people in the class around me. I couldn't feel the same way. It felt different, and I couldn't explain it at the time, but now I'm more understanding of it, is I just don't think the same.
Yeah.
And like I said, maybe it's because I'm a little fucked up in the head or whatever it is, or maybe it's just because I'm able to accept and come to terms that we are all so different.
Yeah.
And I'm just the one that's actually stepping into that a little bit more.
And I mean, watching your social media journey, you are, your language and your posting is just, it's so positive, and it's so, I'm doing this. It's not, I might do it, I might get there. If I grind, this might happen one day. Your language is spot on to me. It's just, this is happening. Like, it's happening.
Well, otherwise you're sprinkling doubt in there.
Yeah.
You doubt yourself, then that grows, and who knows what happens as a result.
And that applies in life and business and lifting weights. I've now had to shift.
Yeah.
I'm just shifting and going, you know, Levi and I have this joke, you know, lift or die. You know, it's kind of it's a joke, but it's serious. You know, we'll just keep going until it lands on your chest, or you can't pick it up.
Yeah.
You know, obviously you don't want to hurt yourself, but
yeah, but if you take that the wrong way, then
it could
find some brain cells.
Yeah. So it's kind of, that's the attitude that I physically train with, but also in small business or whatever. It's just I kind of no plan B, right?
Yeah, I think the more you do that, and like you think you're all in, and then you go a little bit deeper and you put a bit more effort in, or a bit more money in your business, a bit more time, a bit more this, and the further you do it, the more you're like, oh, now I'm in, and you just get deeper and deeper and deeper. And then at some point, I guess a relationship's probably a great example of this. There may be times where you're like, I need to pull out now. Yeah. I'm done. That's it. Like, it's, you know, I can't do this anymore. And so I think, like, if you hold on to that strong mindset that but I was all in. And it's like, you were, but things have changed, seasons, chapters in life, whatever, that may change sometimes as well. And so, like, it's, navigating that can be a challenge. And that could be a 2-hour podcast in itself.
Yeah. Well, you can change the way you do things, whether it's approaching a relationship or approaching your business. If you keep doing your business the same way and it's not working, you can educate yourself and train differently. I mean, keep talking about the Ronnie Coleman era, you know, 4 sets of 12, same weight. And I remember saying to Levi, why isn't my bench press going up? And he said, he's like, are you serious? And I'm like, yeah, well, I've trained 5 days a week lifting. He said, you're lifting the same weight for the same reps for the same amount of time, and you've done it for 20 years. Why would you get stronger? And I'm like, because I'm lifting lots of weight. And he's like, it doesn't work that way.
The same weight.
He said, progressive overload, all the stuff I've mentioned before. And I was like, I don't even know what that. I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And now that I'm on an app, and it's kind of like, and apps for my brain, crazy, ADHD type brain, they're not good, but it works.
Oh, definitely.
So I'm excited to see your journey in your business and how that unfolds, and I'm sure you'll just learn a bucket load on the way.
Yeah. Well, if nothing changes, nothing changes. I know that's a cliche, and it's sort of, but it's very true. And it's, a good example of that, like the Blockbuster Netflix sort of things. Like Blockbuster didn't want to go to the streaming, or I think Netflix offered to buy Blockbuster for millions of dollars, and the next minute they're broke, they're bust, they're gone.
Yeah.
And so because they didn't want to change. Same thing. If you choose not to change, whether that's increasing the weight, changing the rep scheme, whatever it is, that's not meaning like after one day, but when things you're like, oh, it's not working, what is it? And then you look at the variables, you adjust, you go, that's life.
It's like saying I want to run a 4-minute kilometer, but training 5 days a week, running 5-minute kilometers, and then wondering why you can't run a 4-minute kilometer. It's like, well, why would you run a 4-minute kilometer? You're training a 5-minute kilometer. Yeah, that's the kind of
pushed.
That was the bench press example I had. Same weight, same reps, same time. It's like, why would anything change?
Yeah, no variable has adjusted. So
no. So you PTs are smart. I thought I knew everything right.
Some of them.
Yeah.
I've met plenty that aren't.
But I always talk about the dad, dads know best. But funny what happens when you listen to younger people that are educated.
Well, that's it. And that's an interesting topic. I think even a lot of my clients are business owners, and they, potentially that opinion that, why would I hire the 22-year-old, the 23-year-old, the this? And I'm like, yeah, sure. In some cases, it's probably not very wise. But in some cases, let your guard down.
100%. Levi told me for 6 months to download his app, and I ignored every message he sent me. I said, why would I fucking download your app, mate? It's just shit. Like, I know it all. And the moment I downloaded it and started importing data, within a week, I was everything, progressive overload. Now I'm just obsessed with it.
What gets measured gets improved.
And I had a guy say to me yesterday, he's like, oh, don't you find it annoying filling in the data? I'm like, no, I'm excited. Like, it's out.
Intrigued by it.
I'm intrigued by it because I know if I did 8 at X, I now need to do 9 at X or more volume. And, I find it fascinating now.
Yeah, I think more people in those sort of, same with whether it's financial, counting calories, whatever it may be, tracking how many books you read in the year. That pursuit, then it adds another layer to it. Like it's almost like it adds a standard that you've put for yourself. And that's kind of my favorite thing, just to set really, really high standards and, understand that the life you want is on the other side of increasing your standards.
Yeah.
Like it's purely because you're playing, once again, you're not changing a variable. So how do you have this life that you want, but you're not changing any variable? How the fuck do you expect to get that life? It's literally
madness.
That's like, what are they? It's like the
definition of madness.
Yeah,
doing the same thing over and over again.
It's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
So
I was that.
Yeah. I think we've all done it, have we not? Like,
yeah. And actually listening to people, actually sitting down, conversations like this, I've learned so much again today, and then I'll pass on some of the knowledge you've taught me, and I'm sure you'll talk to people about stuff I've said. That's one thing I've noticed as I get older. I like listening a lot more and learning a lot more, and I love talking to old people. I'm going to volunteer. I've got a nursing home across the road from my house, and I've offered to volunteer there. I just want to sit down with people in their 70s and 80s and just hear their war stories and have a cup of tea with them. Maybe they can teach me something about bench pressing. I don't know.
And maybe even though they're 70-something, you'll teach them something too.
100%.
Like that different. And I think that's, if there's one thing that, people could leave today with, it's just be willing to have more open-minded conversations where you listen to the other side.
Yeah. And respect. We can have differences, religion, race, color, whatever. We all exist on the same planet, but just have respect, unless it's crazy, extreme, dangerous, violent maybe, but in all, I think we can all sit at the same dinner table and hear each other out and listen to each other.
But I wonder, even with that violent person, whatever it may be, it's like, sit down, have that conversation. Why are they feeling that anger? Why are they maybe they're not handling it well.
Yes.
Why do they feel that way? And you might be like, oh, interesting. and then you could educate them on why they're handling it in a bad way.
Yeah, I think I said to you in the gym the other day, and that's one thing I'm definitely much better at, because I have an inner rage that burns in me from some trauma as a kid and some stuff I saw but in the family. But every time I see someone, especially males, really rage now, I think I use the example, if you cut me off and if someone cuts you off in traffic and they get out their car with a baseball bat and they're running to, smash your car, it's fair to say that's not because you cut them off.
Yeah.
Like, as in, they don't know
You'd
you.
hope not.
They don't know you, right? You indicate, you forgot to indicate. There's an inner, there's an inner trauma in there. There's an inner, he might have, divorced his wife. He might have lost a parent, whatever. But using an example of a man, but coming at you. But now when I see aggressive situations, my goal is to fuse them, like the one at the beach.
Yeah.
It's like, we don't need to punch on. There's some stuff going on here that's coming from deeper than this little minor accident. I always try to look a little bit deeper as to where stuff's coming from now.
Yeah, well, it could be as simple as literally saying, do you think this is a necessary response?
Yeah.
And even when they're angry, they're probably like,
yeah,
not really, no. Like, you might not sit there and be like, now, is this your childhood trauma talking? They'll be like, oh, you're getting fucking hit now too.
Can we do some box breathing? Four in, four out. Yeah, no.
Yeah, we can do some boxing. That's fine. Like, yeah, so I think situational with what the conversation looks like as well. But no, that's excellent. All right, we might wrap things up there.
Mate,
and
always a pleasure.
It was good fun. Lots of interesting conversation.
Pleasure, mate.
Thanks, Benny. Cheers.